Chapter 83, Chapter 68. From Show-Off to Temptation. In the Uzumaki residence in Kyoto, Japan, a purple portal materialized, and three figures emerged. Finally, I can get out and have fun outside, Fatalis remarked, stretching her limbs. Medusa, Naruto's wife, noticed her husband's fatigue. "You okay, dear?" she asked with concern. Naruto gave a reassuring thumbs up. "I'm okay, just a bit tired, but no need to worry about me, Datebao. Don't try to be tough in front of us, you always push yourself too much," Medusa chided gently, guiding him to rest his head on her lap. "Here, use my lap as a pillow and rest well." "Thank you, dear," Naruto murmured, smiling as he closed his eyes. Artoria watched, a hint of jealousy in her eyes. "Sly one, aren't you?" Medusa smirked. "First come, first serve." Kiyohim's eyes narrowed as she observed the new arrival clinging to Satria's arm. "Dana-sama? Who is she?" Kurumi's smile didn't reach her eyes. Ara, not even one day, and you've already brought another one, hey? Casanova, are you?" Valuna's expression was a mix of amusement and menace. "Hubby, does this mean you enjoyed our treatment last night so much that you're seeking more?" Konako's blank stare was unwavering. "Senpai? Who is this again?" Fran's gaze was sharp, her thoughts directed at Satria. "Another one? Are you not satisfied with what you have now?" Satria senses danger and glancing at Fatalis for support. Fatalis smirked and struck a dramatic pose. "Allow me to introduce myself. I am the most powerful black dragon in the history of my world, the one humankind fears, a walking disaster capable of bringing down a country in a single night. My fire is unmatched, incinerating all who dare cross my path. I am Fatalis Matsumi." Baban, intrigued, used his appraisal skills to assess her. Name: Fatalis Matsumi. Species: Elder Dragon. Title: The Black Demise, the Dragon of Destiny, a hunter's ultimate goal, the King of Disaster, the Legend of Legends, Incarnation of Evil, Ancestral Dragon, Eternal Partner of Satria, Neat Dragon. HP: 20,000. MP: 10,000. Strength: 12,000. Vitality: 7,500. Agility: 5,000. Intelligence: 8,000. Magic: 10,000. Dexterity: 7,500. Skills: Fire resistance, heat resistance, water resistance, cold resistance, shape-shifting, black flame, claw swipe, tail swipe, deadly bite, fire stream, magma spit, cone of fire, burning fire, meteor storm, heat aura, giga fire wave, ancestral fire storm. Baban's eyes widened. "So strong. Fran, do not offend her, she is too powerful for you now." Fran's determination only grew. Another strong female joining the pack. "I need to train harder to be worthy of standing by his side." "But how?" She recalled Satria and Naruto's offer to train her. "They might help me reach new heights. He possesses amazing sword techniques and powerful magic. I have no choice but to accept their offer." Valyuna crossed her arms, an eyebrow raised. "She acts exactly like hubby. It's uncanny." Kurumi face-palmed, shaking her head. "Another weirdo joining my family." Konako, standing in the corner, watched Fatalis with a mix of curiosity and unease. Her thoughts raced. Who is she? The aura Fatalis exuded was overwhelming, and deep down, Konako felt a pang of insecurity. Her intuition screamed that this woman was leagues above her. "Am I even worthy to be part of this family?" Fatalis noticed Konako's conflicted expression and nudged Satria sharply in the ribs. "What?" he asked her with a low whisper. Fatalis tilted her head towards Konako. "Don't what me, moron. Look at your white kitten over there." Satria turned to Konako and frowned. He could see the weight of doubt in her eyes. She feels out of place again, doesn't she? Fatalis whispered. Satria sighed. I'll handle it. She's just like me, a fighter who relies on her fists. I'll train her after she is done training with Naruto. Fatalis smirked. Good. She has potential, but she needs someone to push her. Fran has more fire than her right now, and that's not a good look. Their hushed conversation was interrupted by Kiyohime, who narrowed her eyes suspiciously. What are you two whispering about over there? Nothing, they replied in unison, earning a sharper glare from her. Kiyohime crossed her arms and changed the topic. Now, explain something to us, Matsumi-san. Why are you using my husband's family name? Fatalis grinned mischievously. Isn't it obvious? Because he's my husband now, too. Without hesitation, she pulled Satria close and kissed him boldly. A collective gasp filled the room. Ah! Kiyohime's eyes flared with jealousy. Your husband? Who gave you permission for that? I certainly didn't. Exactly. Valyana chimed in, equally furious. You need to get approval from us before making such declarations. Kurumi smirked. Ara, what a bold claim. This woman is certainly something. Nyahahaha. I can't imagine Vala behaving like her. Kurika laughed when she saw the counterpart of her leader was jealous now. Only Naruto can attract people like them. Psycho sighed in a tired tone. They are interesting kids. Ria chuckled, amused by their interaction. Fatalis rolled her eyes. I don't need anyone's permission. If anything, you all should be asking for my approval. After all, I've been with him the longest. I'm the one who knows everything about him. Is that true, Danasama? Kiyohime demanded, looking at Satria accusingly. Satria scratched the back of his head. Well, she was the first woman I formed a connection with in my new life, but we were just friends until I freed her from her seal. Kurumi smiled slyly. Ara, that means Fatalis-san isn't the official first wife yet. You'll have to convince us to approve you as part of the family. Fatalis leaned back, smirking. Convince you all? Fine. This might actually be fun. She walked confidently toward the group, gesturing for Satria to stay behind. This is a girls' chat. You're not invited, my adorable boy. Satria frowned. Seriously? You're leaving me out? Ignoring him, Fatalis began to persuade all the family members secretly and turned to Kiyohime first. Kiyohime-chan, if you accept me, I'll tell you a continuation of that juicy story I hinted at earlier. Kiyohime's curiosity sparked. You mean, that story? Fine, you have my attention. Valyana blushed deeply. Is that kind of play even possible? She mumbled, covering her face with her hands. Nothing is impossible, Valyana-chan, just trust me, Fatalis teased, winking. Albion, hearing the exchange, snorted. And you claim you're not a pervert like him? Shut up! Valyana snapped, her face slightly red. Kurumi chuckled. My, Fatalis-san, you're fascinating. I can't reject someone so intriguing. Welcome to the family. Let's get along well. Fatalis extended her hand. Likewise, Kurumi-chan. Perhaps we can tag team on some mischief later. Kurumi's smile turned wicked. Oh, I like you already. Meanwhile, Konako hesitated before stepping forward. Will he really help me become stronger? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Fatalis ruffled her hair gently. Of course, little kitty. Stick with us, and you'll become someone he can always rely on. Fran, inspired by Fatalis's confidence, clenched her fists. Thou promise? Fatalis nodded. Absolutely. You two have potential, and we'll make sure you unlock it. As the girls chatted animatedly, Satria stood awkwardly to the side. What the hell are they gossiping about over there? Kurika approached him with a smirk. Hey, you. Are you Konako's boyfriend? Yet. Why? Kurika grinned wider. She speaks highly of you. I want to see if you're worth her praise. Care to show me what you're made of? Satria's grin turned cocky. He conjured an electric guitar from nowhere and struck a dramatic pose. If my dear sister-in-law wishes to witness my greatness, how can I deny her? The girls turned back to Satria, all thinking the same thing. Please, don't embarrass yourself and us again. Kurika laughed. Nyahaha. You're definitely an interesting guy. Let's see what you've got, Satria-kun. From the sidelines, Lara whispered to the others, how do you all put up with him? Kurumi smiled serenely. It's tough, but he does have his charms. The Uzumaki training grounds buzzed with anticipation. The gathered spectators, including most of Satria's allies, eagerly watched him prepare to demonstrate his abilities. Ria and Psycho were absent, busy caring for the children, but the others wanted to witness the strength of the man who had earned such a reputation. In the center of the field, Satria stood calmly, exuding confidence. He summoned a clone, his clone materializing with a mischievous grin. Let's get started, Satria declared, assuming a defensive stance. The clone cracked its knuckles, infusing its hands with supreme haki, its fingers forming a deadly spear shape. Yes, sir. I call this technique Emperor Trident. Inspired by Shin from Ice Healed 21, it's an improved version of his trident tackle. My version, however, is the spear that pierces time. Satria chuckled. Good name. As someone sharing the name Shin, it's only fitting for me to perfect the technique. From the sidelines, Valyana beamed with pride. The spear that pierces time? That sounds amazing. As expected of my hubby. Baban, however, wasn't as impressed. What kind of crazy technique is this? Is it even safe? He muttered nervously. Kurama teased Matatabi, nudging her mentally. You said you wanted to meet him. Why not go out and cheer him on? Matatabi's reply was shy. Not yet. My heart isn't ready. Lara crossed her arms, trying to make sense of the situation. Wait, is this guy seriously mimicking a move from a Japanese cartoon? Fatalis smirked, overhearing her. Inspired is the correct term. He's channeling his inner Chiyunibiya right now. What you see is imagination in action, an essential trait for innovation. That's why I love him. Her voice softened as she continued, Satria isn't the type to rely solely on his cheats. He's a man who values hard work and ingenuity above all else. As the clone prepared its move, the ground beneath them began to tremble. The clone's energy surged, shaking the entire training field. Its voice boomed. Prepare to die, scum. The clone lunged with light speed, faster than the eye could follow. Its spear hand aimed directly at Satria's chest. But Satria stood firm, smirking. Heavenly hand of defense. As the attack connected, Satria absorbed the immense energy of the strike, channeling it into his own body. With a single counter, he unleashed the power back at his clone, amplifying it tenfold. No way. I'm done for. At least let me fondle her. The clone's voice was cut off as it disintegrated in the massive shockwave that followed. The explosion tore through the training grounds, obliterating trees and leaving a crater in its wake. The onlookers shielded themselves from the impact as the barrier Naruto had set up strained to contain the destruction. Cracks formed along the barrier's edges, a testament to the sheer power of Satria's technique. When the dust settled, silence filled the air. Lara blinked, trying to process what she'd just seen. What just happened? Medusa stared in disbelief. How can a human be capable of this? Kurika, recovering quickly, let out a relieved sigh. Now I understand how he beat our hubby, Naya. My little sister chose well. Itaka thought, he is a true prodigy, a man who can change the world. I can't wait to see the future he builds. Artoria reflected, with that kind of speed, he can finish anyone before they even realize they've been hit. Esteth contemplated, truly a scary individual. Facing him requires a flawless plan. Jiraiya admitted to himself, this brat. I can't have him as an enemy. We must reconsider our stance. Baban swallowed hard. Unreal. Even if I had all the strength in the world, it would be useless against his speed. He's on an entirely different level. Naruto's barrier groaned under the strain but held firm, preventing the destruction from spreading beyond the forest. Even so, the forest itself was left in ruins, the ground scarred by Satria's overwhelming power. Satria stood in the center of the devastation, dusting off his clothes with a satisfied grin. Well, that went better than expected. Kurumi chuckled in amusement. Better than expected, hey? You just destroyed an entire forest. Satria shrugged nonchalantly. It's called progress, dear. Can't hold back forever. Valyana couldn't hold back her pride. That's my husband. Meanwhile, Naruto muttered to himself, note to self, don't ever let this brat near a major city. Fatalis, ever the opportunist, crossed her arms and smirked. Well, ladies, now you've seen it for yourselves. Isn't he just magnificent? Kurumi chuckled softly. Magnificent or not, he's a walking disaster. Let's just hope he doesn't destroy the house next time. As everyone exchanged opinions and reactions, Satria turned toward the group, giving them a cocky grin. All right, who's next? Does anyone else want a taste of my sheer awesomeness? The group groaned collectively, some laughing, others face-palming. One thing was certain, Satria had more than lived up to his reputation. Kiyohime smiled softly, you overdid it, Danasama, but it was quite the spectacle. Kurumi added with a hint of reprimand, I agree, Kiyohime-san. Satria-kun, you need to learn to hold back next time. Satria scratched the back of his head, chuckling, my bad. Hee hee. Albion's voice resonated with respect, partner, I don't think there's anyone in our world who can match him. He's just too fast and strong. Valyana grinned, I've always known hubby is a hidden genius, deceiving everyone with his silly antics. Fatalis chuckled, nah. He's an idiot, Valyana-chan. Some of his foolish jokes are genuine, not just acts to deceive his enemies. Konako looked at Satria with admiration, he's living in a different world than us. Amazing. Fran's eyes sparkled with determination, what thou did before, Satria. Can thou teach me thy skill? Baban, still processing what he had witnessed, asked, wait. I badly want to know this first. How fast are you truly? Satria's expression turned serious, how fast am I? Do you believe if I tell you this? I can think at the speed of light, perceive events that last less than an attosecond, and run faster than time. There's more, but no way I will tell you all my secrets and I can teach you some of my techniques later, Fran. The revelation left everyone stunned. Fran, overjoyed, hugged him, thank you, thou art the best, Satria. Konako, not wanting to be left out, held his hand, I want you to train me too. The two girls exchanged competitive glares, only to receive a gentle chop on the head from Satria. It hurts, they exclaimed in unison, rubbing their heads. Satria smiled warmly, don't fight. We'll create a schedule later, and I assure you both will become strong in the future. Satria reclined in the tranquil waters of the Uzumaki household's ryokan, Vaporeon playfully swimming nearby. Ha, I love Japan. They have such wonderful leisure traditions. Why didn't I think about vacationing here in my past life? Do you agree, my girl? Naya. Ariel nodded, her movements sending gentle ripples through the bath. Reflecting on the various types of Japanese baths, rock baths, cypress baths, foot baths, and steam baths, Satria mused, I should build one of each and expand my property. After all, I'm a millionaire, no, a billionaire, soon to be a trillionaire. I hope the devils pay me, but that's unlikely. They'll probably set traps to catch me before I can claim my reward. What persona should I adopt next for some fun? How about hero for fun? You've experienced being a villain, now it's time to play the hero, Fatalis suggested. Hero for fun, hey? Interesting idea. Satria considered the new moniker, appreciating Fatalis's input. His thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of 6 figures, clad only in towels, Kiyohime, Valyana, Konako, Kurumi, Fran, and Fatalis. Noticing his gaze lingering on them, Konako remarked, Senpai, pervert. Satria shrugged. I'm a healthy teenager, you can't blame me. But why are you all here? It's not appropriate for men and women to bathe together with so little clothing. It's not a problem, Danasama, we are husband and wife, after all, Kiyohime replied. If you can't hold back, feel free to do it, to me hehe, Valyana teased. There are minor here, princess. Please don't say such things, Satria admonished. Don't treat me like a child. Fran pouted, her ears twitching in annoyance. How cute, Fran-chan, let's play together, Kurumi cooed, embracing Fran and gently stroking her cat ears. You can't touch her, Satria-kun, not yet. Why does this feel strangely erotic? Satria thought, shaking his head to dispel the inappropriate images forming. As they all settled into the bath, Satria found himself flanked by Fatalis on his left and Kiyohime on his right. This is marvelous. It feels like all my exhaustion is melting away, Kiyohime sighed contentedly. I agree. We should build something like this at home, Fatalis added. If that's what you want, leave it to me, Satria promised. Naya, it's so good. My body feels refreshed. This world is truly better than mine, Fran murmured, her eyes half closed in bliss. Konako's face turned crimson as she moved closer to Satria. You okay, Konako? He asked, concerned. I don't know why, but I want to do this, Konako whispered, leaning in to kiss him deeply. Mine, hee. What are you doing? It should be me. Fran protested, pushing Konako aside to claim her own kiss. Hee. Now you're marked as mine. Time out. Girls, what's gotten into you? Satria exclaimed, noticing the others approaching with similar intent. You're too late. Be obedient and let us pamper you, Fatalis purred, her hand wandering under the water. Danasama, can I? I can't hold back anymore. Kiyohime pleaded, her eyes filled with desire. I don't understand, but I badly want to feast on you. Prepare yourself, Valyana declared, pulling him toward the edge of the bath. As they closed in, Kurumi recalled the events leading up to this moment. Ah! It must be that drink Kurika gave us. That perverted cat, but one play shouldn't hurt. Forgive me, Kurumi. Satria watched as she climbed onto his lap, positioning herself intimately. Okay, this is too much. Forgive me. Moving at light speed, he delivered precise neck chops, rendering them unconscious except for Kurumi. How are you still awake? He asked, bewildered. Do you forget how durable I am? I've always been curious about the taste of your blood. Let me sip some, and I'll stop. How about it? Kurumi proposed. Sounds dubious, but fine. You're quite the pervert, aren't you? Satria relented. It's your fault, Baka. You must take responsibility, Kurumi retorted, leaning in to bite his neck. Itadakamesu. As she drank, her eyes filled with ecstasy. Are you done? Don't take too much, Satria cautioned. I can't stop. So delicious, I want more, Kurumi moaned, continuing to drink. You make me jealous. How about we doing tag team now? Fatalis suddenly wake up and joining the couple activities, she teasing Kurumi body make her let out sexy moans. Feel good, hey? How about this? Her finger enter private part of Kurumi. What? How? Satria surprised she still can standing after getting hit by his attack. I am dragon dear, don't think something like that enough to stop me devour you, my little puppy. Fatalis smiling to him. Not that place, Fatalis-san. I can't hold this anymore. She can feel Fatalis' hand on her private part teasing her breast and clitoris. Coming. Ha. Ha. Darling. I can't hold this anymore. Let's continue what we leave before. But. You promise not going to do it after drinking my blood? We should. Satria tried to resist but Fatalis shut his mouth with her breast. Just shut up, dear. We can do this in easy way or hard way, your choice. Fatalis threatened him and Satria only can nodded his head in surrender. Good boy, we make sure you will enjoy this. The two begin violate Satria until they are satisfied. Here we go again. To be continued. Chapter 84, Chapter 69. Heaven feel. Satria emerged from the bath with a tired face, clearly drained from the ordeal. In stark contrast, the two women following behind him, Fatalis and Kurumi, were positively radiant, carrying an unconscious Kiyohime, Valyuna, Konako, and Fran. After ensuring they were safely tucked into their room and the bathroom was cleaned up, Satria was intercepted by the rest of the Uzumaki household. Naruto's wife stood there with disapproving expressions, while Kurika nervously scratched the back of her head. Kurika, how could you do something so reckless? Psycho scolded, her voice laced with disapproval. Drugging them with an aphrodisiac? What were you thinking? I just wanted her to bond with Satriania, Kurika stammered, ears drooping. I thought, if they got closer, it would make her happier. Psycho's eyes narrowed, her tone sharpening. That is not how you help people connect. You nearly crossed a line that could have caused irreparable damage. You'll need to be punished so you won't make such a mistake again. Kurika shrank back, visibly trembling. I am sorry. Ria sighed, stepping in to mediate. That's enough for tonight. It's late, and we're all tired. Satria, take control of your household. Next time, don't let things escalate to this point. Satria nodded silently, exhaustion evident on his face. With a glance at Kurika, he muttered, Please, don't do that again, Kurika-san, so troublesome. Satria slid open the door to his tatami-lined bedroom, ready to collapse from the day's events. Instead, he found Kurumi and Fatalis wearing a yukata, a lightweight cotton garment similar to a kimono, now waiting for him, sitting awkwardly on his futon. Their expressions were a mix of guilt and nervous anticipation. He folded his arms, quirking an eyebrow. Should I be flattered or frustrated seeing you two here after everything? Kurumi bowed her head, her usual teasing demeanor replaced by genuine remorse. I'm sorry, darling. I couldn't control myself. I let my feelings take over, and I acted selfishly. Fatalis chimed in, her tone unusually soft. Me too. I didn't mean to go that far. If there's anything we can do to make it up to you, just say the word. Satria sighed, his anger wavering as he looked at their apologetic faces. He sat between them, resting his head against Fatalis's shoulder. Just pat me and let me rest. That's all I want right now. Fatalis let out a small laugh, running her fingers through his hair. Such a spoiled boy. You can admit it, it's okay to let us take care of you. I'm not spoiled, Satria grumbled, his face heating up. Kurumi giggled and hugged him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder. There's no shame in being a little spoiled with us, darling. We're here for you. Fatalis, always the bold one, smirked. Speaking of being spoiled, want to enjoy our breasts? You seem to like them. Satria flushed, but before he could respond, Fatalis shifted, her yukata slipping off effortlessly. Here you go, no need to hold back, she teased, leaning closer. Hesitating only briefly, Satria gave in, burying his face against her chest. He let out a soft sigh of contentment, causing Fatalis to giggle. Such a baby, she murmured, stroking his hair. Kurumi, not to be outdone, pouted. Hey, it's my turn. Don't hog him, Fatalis. She shrugged off her own top, presenting herself with an exaggerated pout. Fine, fine, Fatalis said with a playful smirk, gently nudging Satria toward Kurumi. Go on, darling. Be a good boy and thank her properly. As Satria shifted to Kurumi, he let out a sheepish chuckle. You two really spoil me too much. Kurumi wrapped her arms around him, her voice soft and filled with affection. We just love you, that's all. And maybe, deep down, you love being spoiled. Can I? Kurumi. Satria opened her yukata, bountiful boobies of her can be seen now. Go ahead, darling. Satria sucks her boobs without hesitation and Kurumi makes tiny moans. No matter how hard you suck my boobs, my milk, not gonna come out dear. Kurumi felt pleasure and happiness inside her. It's so delicious, Kurumi. I'll think of a way to produce it later, Satria replies to her and continues doing what he does now. Pervert. I don't want to be a mother now, idiot. To produce breast milk women must be pregnant, that is what she knows until someone gives her weird knowledge. There is magic or a drug that makes you produce the milk without being pregnant, you know. Want to test it, Kurumi-chan? Fatalis told Kurumi and made her blush very red. You, want to drink our milk, Satria-kun? Kurumi asked him. Did he want something like that? If you don't mind, sure thing. Satria hid his face deeper in Kurumi's boobs because ashamed of himself. Kurumi sighed and checked the dimensional chat. Such a stupid drug and weird magic truly exists, should I buy it? It's only 75 copyright for the drug. Just, this time, maybe. She buys it from dimensional chat and 2 pills are coming out of nowhere. What is that? Satria is interested in what she buys from the group chat. Here, Fatalis-san. Let's fulfill our spoiled boy's dream. Kurumi gives Fatalis one of the pills she bought from dimensional chat. Thank you. Fatalis received it and swallowed the pill. You should be thankful to Kurumi-chan, dear. Go ahead and taste her milk now. Satria gets closer and suckles Kurumi's breast. He is surprised because the milk is coming out and it's so good. It's sweet and smells like a chamomile rose flower. I will be addicted to this if this goes on. You look enjoying it. Is my milk that good, darling? Kurumi asks for his reviews. The best drink I have in my life, Satria answered her question with a happy feeling. It's not a waste to spend my coin on that weird stuff. Kurumi was happy when heard his review about the taste of her milk. How about taste mine next? Fatalis tempted him with her boobs rubbing on his back. Don't want to be rude, but is a lizard capable of lactating? Satria asks a stupid question and makes Fatalis mad at him. Never said that to a lady, dumbass. Fatalis slap his head. Just think of me as similar to platypus, you know. The animal is able to lay eggs and produce milk. It hurts. But is that true? Satria knew about that animal but never expected a dragon to be similar to that mammal duck. Weird knowledge increased again. Fatalis nodded. So, do you want to taste my milk or not? If you don't want it, I'll go to sleep now and say goodbye to your favorite oppai. She started to put on her lingerie but stopped by someone. I really want to taste your milk. Really? How sweet, but that's not enough to convince me. What do you want from me? Call me Bunda from now on, Fatalis whispered into his ears, telling him what she wanted from him. Is there no other choice? It just feels strange for me to call you that. Satria always called his mother by that nickname, and now this girl wants him to call her that too. How about world dominance? I can do that for you. Maybe. He better do that shit rather than this. I don't need the world because you're my world, little puppy, Fatalis winked at him. Stupid. Satria blushed and looked away. My how poetic Fatalis-san, what are you waiting for dear? Go for it. Kurumi cheered him on. Bunda. Satria feels humiliated for the first time in his life. As I thought, it's so damn embarrassing. Fatalis is amused when she sees her mate's adorable face and pulls his head close to her chest. Now. You can claim your reward, feel free to use my breasts as you wish. Then. Excuse me. Satria drank Fatalis milk and her eyes widened, the taste was unique. It's sweet mixed with bitterness. What comes close to this taste is hot coffee milk, I think. It's delicious too. So. How about it? Fatalis asked her big baby who has a delighted face now. It's very good and makes me forget the world, let me sleep like this, dear. Satria sleeps on a Fatalis soft breast with a peaceful look on her face. Maybe this is what they call heaven feel. Is this perhaps my victory Kurumi? Fatalis smiles proudly at her sister's wives. No. He is not saying that your milk is better than mine. Kurumi does not accept this result. Still. Seeing him like this, I can't leave him. This guy is too spoiled and immature, yet he can be reliable and intimidating when needed. What a strange guy to fall in love with. She stroked his hair gently. Yes, we have to support him from now on. He may act strong but deep inside the man is just a little puppy who cannot be left alone, Fatalis said to her. Kurumi smiled softly. You're right. The Uzumaki household buzzed with activity as everyone gathered around the breakfast table. Plates filled with steamed rice, miso soup, grilled salmon, egg dishes, vegetable sides, pickled vegetables, and seaweed created a warm and homely atmosphere. Amidst the casual chatter, several people rubbed their necks, their expressions puzzled. I dunno why, but my neck feels sore, Valyana said, tilting her head from side to side. She turned to Satria with a small smile. Hubby, can you give me a massage later? Same here, Danasama, Kiyohime added, rolling her shoulders. It's like someone hit me on the neck last night. Her brows furrowed as she tried to recall the hazy memory. All I remember is Kurika-san offering me a drink before the bath. Me too, Konako chimed in, rubbing the back of her neck. Fran tilted her head, her curiosity piqued. What is a massage? Is it good? Fatalis smirked, patting Fran on the head. Phew. When you're a little older, this big sister will let you try it. For now, you'll have to wait. Fran pouted. Now I'm even more curious. Satria sighed, his chopsticks pausing mid-air. What do you all think I am, your personal masseur? He went back to eating his breakfast, enjoying the food prepared by Saiko and Kurumi. The two women exchanged smiles, their matching aprons giving them a harmonious, domestic look. You're both excellent cooks, Satria said between bites, and that apron suits you, Kurumi. Saiko gave a small nod of appreciation. Thank you, Satria-san. I'm glad you enjoy it. My thank you, dear, Kurumi added, a pleased smile lighting up her face. Satria held out his plate. I want more, Kurumi. Kurumi blinked. This is already your 10th serving. You really have a bottomless stomach, don't you? Still, she took his plate and went to serve him another round. All right, but this is the last one, okay? Come on, hubby, Valyana interjected, leaning closer to Satria with a mischievous grin. I miss your passionate touch. You're the only one worthy of laying hands on this white dragon emperor's body. Satria barely spared her a glance. What makes you think I care about something like that? Stupid. He kept eating, his tone indifferent. Valyana's face twisted into a cute pout. Hubby, you're so mean. Kurika snickered, barely suppressing her laughter. You know, Valyana, I can hardly believe you're my past leader's counterpart. You look so happy and spoiled unlike him. Even Albion, Valyana's sacred gear spirit, chimed in with exasperation. This is disgraceful. My strongest bearer, reduced to this ridiculousness. What happened to the fierce white dragon emperor I once knew? Shut up, Albion. Valyana's cheeks turned crimson as everyone's attention turned to her. What are you all looking at? Naruto chuckled, his laughter loud and infectious. Man, who would have thought the white dragon emperor had a cute, mushy side? You two are like an old married couple. Valyana clenched her fists, her embarrassment boiling into irritation. Don't laugh. You're dead after breakfast, Naruto. Naruto grinned, leaning back lazily. Oh? Is that a challenge? All right, I'll take you on. The table erupted into laughter, the earlier tension giving way to camaraderie and warmth. Even as Valyana stewed in her irritation, she couldn't help but feel a faint sense of belonging among the group. Kiyohime stretched out on the bed, her eyes closed in relaxation as Satria's hands worked over her stiff muscles. Aren't you going to watch them train, Danasama? She asked, her voice soft but curious. Satria shook his head as he gently massaged her shoulders. No. I have other things to focus on. My clone can handle the training for now. I need to work on turning my money around and planning for a profitable business in our world. He wasn't particularly fond of combat, preferring to use his time for innovations or simply lazing around. Kiyohime hummed softly as she felt a particularly tight knot in her back dissolve under his expert touch. What kind of business do you want to create, Danasama? Yes, right there. Satria smiled slightly as he continued to work, his mind already shifting to his plans. I want to build an online video game distribution platform. It'll also have social media features and community message boards. Developers, both big and small, will be able to promote their games, and customers can purchase them directly from the site. It'll be like an online shop, but I also plan to bring my favorite game from my past life to this world. He paused for a moment, his thoughts turning to the technical challenges ahead. I'm in the process of creating the source engine for it. It's tough, but with my ability to think quickly, learning programming has become easier. The hard part will be finding people who can help me. I haven't found the right people in this world yet. And I'll need sponsors to fund the project. Technology in the DxD world is still far behind what I'm used to. But if it succeeds, I could make billions. Kiyohime, still basking in the massage, tilted her head slightly. I don't really understand all that, but... She smiled fondly. I'll support you, Danasama. Just, don't overdo it, okay? I don't want you to wear yourself out. She was quietly amused by his ambitions. Even with all his power, his dream is surprisingly normal and childish in a way. It's cute. Satria chuckled softly, his hands stopping as he gently patted her back. Okay, ma'am, I promise, he said reassuringly. He then frowned slightly, his thoughts drifting elsewhere. By the way, where's that stupid sword? I haven't seen it since last night. Normally, that idiot is always insulting my brilliant ideas and telling me to stay away from Fran. He scowled to himself. Is he dead? Nice. I hope you're reincarnated in Boku no Pico world in your next life, you stupid sword. His tone held a touch of annoyance, but a small part of him relished the idea of the sword finally being gone. Fran sighed in frustration, her fingers brushing against the cold metal of the Gleipnir chains that bound her sword in the dark closet. Tch. I've failed, she muttered to herself. Last night was supposed to be my moment, but I'm too weak. Her voice was laced with irritation and self-doubt. The plan had been simple: use the drugged drink Kurika gave to others to get closer to Satria without him feeling guilty. But it had all fallen apart. Fran didn't want to be forgotten, abandoned by the one person who had given her the warmth of a family and a new life. With a resigned huff, Fran began unbinding the chains, the special magical bindings that had been given to her after clearing a dungeon from dimensional chat. The sword, still trapped in the darkness of the closet, raged helplessly. Fran! Why do you do this to me? The sword's voice trembled with frustration, its tone thick with loneliness. It's dark and lonely here, and you just... Fran opened the closet door, cutting off the sword's cries with a smile that seemed sweet on the surface, but was edged with something more sinister. In that case... She tilted her head playfully, her eyes gleaming. Just don't get in my way, Shishao. Be ready, because we need to get stronger. I can't let him pull another stunt like last night. She grabbed the sword, holding it firmly, the weight of her determination fueling her movements. As she left the room, humming softly to herself, her thoughts turned inward, a twisted, possessive grin creeping across her face. Satria, what do I need to do to be number one in your heart? I want you to love me the way I love you. Always. Everything you want, everything you need. I'll give it all to you. And I will crush anyone who dares harm you, my love. As your blade, that's what I can do for you. Her words were not just declarations, but a promise to herself, to Satria, and to anyone who might dare come between them. Meanwhile, somewhere far from Fran's resolve, the sword's spiritual father Baban brooded in silence. Scary. All of this is that idiot's fault. As a father, I will never approve of a stupid guy like Satria as my daughter's partner. Do you hear that, Satria? I will never accept you. Not now, not ever, until the end of the world. His vow echoed in the quiet of his mind, resolute and unyielding. Uzumaki Training Ground. Forested Massachusetts, Boston. Satria and the others sat on the bench, watching as Valyana and Naruto prepared for their sparring match. The atmosphere was filled with anticipation, but Satria was distracted by the squabble in his lap. It's my spot. No, it's mine. Satria sighed, looking down at the two kittens, Konako and Fran, fighting over his lap as they pinched each other's cheeks in playful annoyance. With a resigned sigh, he pulled them both onto his lap and gently stroked their heads, his hand glowing with the peaceful energy of the Ultraman cosmos. Girls? Don't fight, he said, his voice calm and firm. Naya, okay, Fran said, pouting but calming down immediately. Sorry, senpai, Konako giggled, nestling closer to him. Please, pat me more, hee. Fatalis, sitting beside him, raised an eyebrow with a teasing smile. How does it feel? Having girls fight over you? Satria rolled his eyes, a slightly annoyed but affectionate smile tugging at his lips. Fun? It's more of a headache. Now I understand why Brother Topsun says, marriage isn't easy, and zeal man freedom is real. Kurumi, hearing this, put on an exaggerated sad face and leaned closer, her voice soft and almost too sweet. Do you dislike having us around, darling? Am I a burden to you? Tears welled up in her eyes, making her look more innocent than ever. Is that true, senpai? Konako joined the act, her voice trembling as she added, are you dating me out of pity? Who? Senpai, you're horrible. Fran, not wanting to be left out, flashed a menacing grin. You break my heart, Satria. If I can't have you, then no one can. I'll drag you into the next life with me until you accept me. TCH, Bunda never teaches you to hurt women's hearts like this, Satria. I'm so disappointed in you, my boy. Fatalis shook her head dramatically. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out from behind them. Satria Kisama! How dare you make my friend sad? Take Baban, in a fit of rage, tried to launch a fireball, but before he could finish, Satria moved with lightning speed, sending him straight to the middle of the Sahara Desert. Where am I? Baban shouted, looking around in confusion. Akh! Satria, you bastard! Where did he send Shishao? Sigh. They are both so childish. Fran said internally, gonna ask him to return Master Baban later. Satria sighed heavily, rubbing his temples. Alright. First, I'm sorry for saying all that stupid stuff. Second, it's pretty clear by now that none of you are going anywhere, so don't expect me to let you leave my life. Third, you can each ask for one wish, and I'll grant it no matter how ridiculous it is. Happy? The girls, all too aware of his soft spot, giggled in unison, seeing through his fake angry expression. He's so easy, they thought, their hearts melting at his frustration. Not long after, the much-anticipated duel between the God of Hope and the strongest White Dragon Emperor began. Watch carefully, Fran, Konako, Satria advised, his tone serious as he watched the two prepare for battle. A good soul fighter always considers every move, every piece of information as part of their strategy. A fighter's job is not just to throw punches but to think 3 steps ahead, use everything at their disposal. Don't get discouraged by setbacks, no matter how temporary. Always keep your cool, and remember, if you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will be defeated in every battle. The girls listened intently, their eyes wide as Satria delivered the motivational speech with an unexpected level of maturity and wisdom. That was a good quote, my alpha, Fran thought, a sly smile forming on her lips. You need to stop before this one really gets to you. Senpai. Konako thought to herself, a determined fire lighting up her gaze. He's always there for me, even when I'm unsure of myself. I won't let you down. I promised. Lara, who had been watching the scene unfold, raised an eyebrow. Wait, are you really 16? No way. You don't sound like a teenager. That's some deep wisdom coming from a guy who looks like a harmless puppy. Konako is lucky to have you as a mate. Naya, I have always rooted for both of you. Not only he is humorous person, but her little sister's mate also has this unexpected side. Kurumi leaned in, touching Satria's forehead with concern. Is this real? The guy who acts like a spoiled baby one moment is giving life advice the next. She smirked. I didn't expect this from you, Satria. Satria shot her a glare. Stop treating me like a kid. Is that all you think of me? A spoiled brat. His usual grumpy expression returned, and the girls laughed at how quickly he reverted back to his old self. As expected, you're not just a fool, but I'll make you more than that, my love, Fatalis thought, a soft smile playing at the corner of her lips as she observed her mate. Valyuna, her aura crackling with power, activated her balance breaker and walked toward Naruto with an excited grin. The ground trembled beneath her as she gathered her strength. My husband says you're strong, and someone I can't look down on. Prove it to me, Uzumaki Naruto. Show me you're a worthy opponent, she declared, her voice sharp with excitement. Without warning, Valyuna dashed forward, the earth cracking under her speed, dust swirling in her wake. Naruto, unfazed, raised an eyebrow and gave a small smile. He calmly stepped back, his mind entering a meditative state as he focused. With precise calculation, he began to read Valyuna's movements. Kitsune Seiken. Naruto called out, his palms glowing with energy as he countered. The technique flowed effortlessly as he combined Valyuna's momentum with his own, redirecting her attack and using her speed against her. Valyuna's attack backfired, and she was sent tumbling backward. However, she managed to flip mid-air and land gracefully on her feet. She winced slightly, the ache in her arms a testament to Naruto's skill. You're not bad, Valyuna said, her voice laced with admiration. You redirected my attack with my own speed. Similar to my husband. You're a martial artist worth praising. Naruto nodded, his calm demeanor unwavering. Satria teaches you well. Unlike your counterpart, who's brash and overconfident, you're more cool-headed. That's a good trait in a fighter. Valyana smiled, a hint of nostalgia in her eyes. What can I say? My beloved crushed my foolish former self and reminded me that power isn't everything on the battlefield. Naruto's eyes glinted, shifting into the toad-like pupils of his sage mode. Is that so? Good. Now let's see if you can handle this, Valyana-chan. A heavy stillness fell over the training ground as a tremendous amount of natural energy began to swirl around Naruto, drawing the attention of everyone present. His presence seemed to grow as he drew in the power of the earth itself. Interesting, Valyana mused, her eyes narrowing in concentration. Is that senjutsu? Konako asked, her voice tinged with surprise. The massive influx of natural energy Naruto was channeling was unlike anything she'd seen before. It was an overwhelming display of power, yet there was a calmness to it, an awareness that made her feel at ease despite the immense energy. Kurika, watching her younger sister closely, smiled warmly. What do you think, Naya? Still afraid to learn senjutsu? It's not dangerous if you know how to handle it. It's a little harder to master in our world because nature's so polluted, but once you do, it's worth the effort. Konako's gaze hardened, a flicker of determination in her eyes. She took a deep breath, resolving the fear that had held her back for so long. Yes. I want to learn senjutsu. Satria, who had been quietly observing, felt a wave of pride. It was clear that the fear that had held Konako back from unlocking her true potential was finally fading. Kurika, too, shared in the joy, her eyes glinting with approval. Together, they would ensure that Konako achieved her dream stronger and more capable than ever before. To be continued. Chapter 85, Chapter 70. The Death March. Uzumaki Training Ground. Forested outskirts of Boston, Massachusetts. The echoes of clashing energy and thunderous impacts reverberated through the dense forest, filling the arena with tension. Naruto, in his Sunin mode, stood poised and focused, his golden aura flaring around him. Across from him, Valyana in her balance breaker hovered midair, her icy white armor radiating a chilling brilliance. Naruto smirked as he formed a familiar hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. In an instant, 20 identical clones materialized around him, their stances ready for combat. Valyana narrowed her eyes, her analytical mind working overtime. He can clone himself too? Interesting. No wonder hubby warned me about him. But why does he always say that senjutsu users are our worst matchups? The deep, ancient voice of Albion rumbled in her mind. Senjutsu is a dangerous power, especially when wielded by someone as experienced as him. Only a handful of beings, like that monkey Inma, can harness its full potential. This human is exceptional. We need to tread carefully. Naruto's confident voice interrupted her thoughts. Are you ready, Valyana-chan? Let's give it our all. He pulled a set of Hiraishin kunai from his pouch, twirling them deftly in his fingers. Valyana grinned, a competitive spark lighting up her crimson eyes. Bring it on, Naruto. And don't you dare hold back. Naruto's smirk widened. As you wish. With a flick of his wrist, he scattered the kunai across the battlefield, embedding them in trees, rocks, and the ground. Then, his hands blurred through a rapid sequence of seals. Valyana frowned. What's he planning with those kunai? Naruto's voice boomed across the field. Requiem of the God of Thunder. Suddenly, the air around her crackled with electricity as Naruto and his clones began teleporting in rapid succession. Each flicker of movement was accompanied by the ominous hum of gathering lightning energy. Lightning style, Jo Oda Marae's Nan Barrage. A symphony of giant, spinning lightning-infused rays nan-orbs came hurtling toward Valyana from all directions. The sheer intensity of the attack sent shockwaves rippling through the ground, uprooting trees, and shaking the arena. Valyana's eyes widened as she hastily conjured a glowing magical barrier around herself. The rays nan strikes battered her shield relentlessly, cracks spreading across its surface like spider webs. Damn it! I was careless. Think, Valyana. You can't let yourself look weak in front of your family. As the barrier began to buckle, she stomped her foot down hard, releasing a burst of energy that propelled her into the air. She soared above the fray, taking a moment to catch her breath. Albion's voice growled in her mind. Valyana. Watch those kunao, he's using them to teleport. He can attack you from any angle. Her eyes darted across the battlefield, noting the scattered kunao. So, that's his game. And his clones can teleport too. What a troublesome opponent. The Dragon of Supremacy's tone turned serious. You can't afford to stay grounded. He's controlling the battlefield. What's your next move, partner? Valyana clenched her fists, her mind racing. I can't let him dictate the fight. I'll need to force him to adapt to my pace. She smirked, a wild idea forming in her mind. Albion, let's try something new. Get ready to amplify me. It's truly remarkable, Itaka said, his calm voice laced with a hint of admiration. Who would have thought that the little blonde boy I met at the inn would grow to be so powerful? His crimson Sharingan eyes followed the intense battle below. Beside him, Jiraiya grinned with pride. He's not just powerful, he's a genius. Naruto's mastery over the Hiraishin surpasses even his father's. And combining Rei's Nan with multiple elements? That's something Minato never dreamed of. Watching my student like this, it's like a dream come true. Meanwhile, Satria watched from the sidelines, a mix of amusement and pity flashing across his face. Canon Naruto could never. Poor guy didn't even get to learn his father's signature move. At least his son can use it. But this version of Naruto? Overpowered, and a playboy. Still, one thing Canon Naruto has over this guy, loyalty. This bastard would make his family in canon story cry. Satria's thoughts were interrupted by an excited laugh. Fatalis leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. Oh! Look at her! Valyana's about to use that. Curiosity flickered across Artoria's stoic face as she glanced toward the battlefield. What is she planning to do? Fatalis wagged her tail playfully. No spoilers. It's more fun to watch without knowing, isn't it? Asteth smirked, folding her arms. For once, I agree. Let's enjoy the surprise. Satria cupped his hands around his mouth, cheering with enthusiasm. Show him what we worked on, princess. Land a clean hit on that blonde bastard's smug face, and I'll take you on a romantic cruise to the Maldives. Just the two of us. Oh, and I'll teach you some new techniques while we're there. The promise caused an immediate reaction from the group of women around him. Fatalis leaned back with a sly grin. A private trip to the Maldives, just you two? How nice for Valyana Fufufu. The temperature seemed to drop as Kurumi, with her signature unsettling smile, tilted her head toward Satria. Oh? A cruise, just the two of you? My, how thoughtful. And what about us, dear? Konako, normally reserved, narrowed her eyes. Senpai. Are you playing favorites now? Even Fran, who rarely spoke, gave him a sharp glare that pierced through him like a blade. Beads of sweat formed on Satria's forehead as he felt the weight of their combined stares. Why do all the girls around me have to be so terrifying? I swear, someone cursed me with this kind of luck. He raised his hands defensively, trying to placate the brewing storm. Wait, ladies. It's not what it sounds like. I was just encouraging her. Kurumi's smile widened dangerously. Oh, we understand perfectly, Satria-kun. Encouragement, you say? Perhaps we'll need extra encouragement to remind you of your priorities. Fatalis laughed, clapping her hands. Oh, this is getting good. Don't backpedal now, Satria. Valyana's eyes lit up with excitement as she processed Satria's words. A date, just the two of us? Hee, that sounds perfect. I won't let you down, husband. She closed her eyes, focusing all her energy. Mana surged through her body, coiling into a concentrated point at her core. With a deep breath, 6 pairs of devil's wings unfolded dramatically from her back, their appearance like shards of obsidian against the sky. This was one of her most advanced techniques, a devastating attack forged through relentless training with Satria. On the battlefield, Naruto's senses sharpened. His golden eyes flickered with surprise as he felt the energy radiating from Valyana. What kind of dangerous skill has that brat taught her, he muttered, beads of sweat forming on his brow. Valyana's grin widened, her voice ringing out across the field. Dimensional blast! The air around her cracked and warped as she unleashed the attack. A massive shockwave of pure destructive energy erupted from her position, ripping through the battlefield with devastating force. Trees, rocks, and everything in its path were annihilated in an instant, leaving a gaping void where her attack had landed. Hovering above the aftermath, Valyana panted heavily, her confidence surging. She scanned the obliterated terrain and let out a triumphant laugh. Did I win? Ha ha ha! I did it! Ha ha ha! Oi, oi! Did you kill him? This might get us into trouble, Albion warned, his tone unusually concerned. The battlefield stood still as the aftermath of Valyana's dimensional blast settled. Dust and debris clouded the air, and the sheer destructive force left everyone watching in stunned silence. So, this is the power of the White Dragon Emperor. Konako murmured, her golden eyes wide with awe. The sheer scale of the attack made her question how Naruto could possibly stand against it. How is that pervert senpai going to defeat her? It seems impossible. Kurika, standing nearby, whistled in admiration. Naya, I've never seen Vala use a move like that before. It's something new. Kurumi, intrigued, turned to Satria. What exactly was that technique? Care to explain, dear? Satria smirked proudly. It's a product of our training. I helped her channel her strength, speed, and dimensional energy into a single devastating point. Once we figured out the proper connection and timing, we created a technique capable of destroying almost anything in its path. Kurumi's crimson gaze narrowed thoughtfully. Interesting. In that case, would you be willing to give me some pointers? I'd love to add more weapons to my arsenal to better protect our family, of course. Satria chuckled, nodding. Of course. We'll have our own training session later. There's a lot we can do with your powers, Kurumi. I already have a few ideas. Meanwhile, Fran tilted her head, observing the battlefield. If Naruto-san isn't moving, does that mean Valyana won? Asteth scoffed, her voice calm but confident. Impressive, yes, but don't jump to conclusions. That attack alone isn't enough to defeat Naruto. He's no ordinary opponent. The others on Naruto's side nodded in agreement. Satria, however, sighed heavily as he watched Valyana's triumphant laughter echo across the battlefield. She's laughing already. I told her not to let her guard down under any circumstances. Looks like I'll have to toss her over the waterfall again until she learns some inner peace. Fatalis leaned over with a teasing grin. Poor Valyana. I pity her already. That waterfall routine of yours is brutal. Suddenly, a purple portal tore through the air behind Valyana. Without warning, a colossal black hand shot out, gripping her and slamming her into the ground with terrifying force. Everyone froze, their eyes widening in shock. From the swirling darkness of the portal, Naruto stepped out. His golden flaming robe shimmered, his Rikudo mode illuminating the battlefield like a beacon of divine power. Behind him, 9 black orbs floated ominously, radiating an overwhelming presence. His chakra pulsed with an intensity that made the air feel heavy, commanding absolute attention. For a yokai like Konako, the effect was even more profound. She clutched her chest, her breath hitching. This chakra. It's the very essence of divinity. Captivating, powerful. If I hadn't met Senpai first, I might have been completely enthralled by it. Before Valyana could respond, a swirling purple portal materialized behind her. The air grew heavy with an oppressive energy as a colossal black hand emerged from within, its very presence exuding an aura of dread. Valyana! Behind you! Albion's panicked shout snapped her attention to the portal. She turned, her eyes widening in terror as the massive hand grabbed her, its grip cold and suffocating. As she struggled, her gaze drifted beyond the hand into the portal, and what she saw froze her blood. A dark, incomprehensible figure loomed within, its form barely discernible but radiating an overwhelming sense of malice. For the first time in her life, Valyana felt true fear. Her breaths grew shallow, her limbs trembled. The hand flung her to the ground with a brutal force, leaving her gasping for air. From the portal, Naruto emerged, now cloaked in his Rikudo mode, the golden glow of his form contrasting sharply with the abyssal darkness inside the portal. Albion's voice broke the stunned silence. What is that? That darkness, it's deeper than any abyss I've ever encountered. It's terrifying. Even Off-Eyes doesn't invoke such fear, but this is something else entirely. Valyana forced herself to stand despite her shaking legs, defiance flickering in her crimson eyes. The White Dragon Emperor afraid of someone? No. Impossible. I won't allow it. Her body trembled, but her resolve hardened. I'm not done yet, she shouted, forcing herself to face the figure who had just humbled her. Naruto observed Valyana with a calm but determined expression. You've got incredible power, Valyana-chan. If this were my former self from 7 years ago, you might have won already. But now, it's my turn. Drawing in the earth chakra, a glowing raised nan began to form in his palm, swirling with destructive energy. In a flash, Naruto vanished, using the Hiraishin mark he had cleverly planted on Valyana earlier. Uzuiko raised nan. Before she could react, the spiraling raised nan connected, sending Valyana flying through the air. She crashed into the ground, the impact leaving her visibly battered. Ugh, unacceptable. Valyana groaned, her body struggling to respond. Suddenly, her vision blurred, and the world began to spin. She stumbled, unable to even stand upright. What's happening? Why is my vision spinning? What did you do to me? Naruto smirked knowingly. This is a technique I call Uzuiko Raise Nan. By infusing the ever-spinning chakra of the earth into my attack, I've disrupted your equilibrium. That chakra is running wild in your body now, making it impossible for you to tell up from down or left from right. Your balance is completely destroyed. I'd suggest you surrender, Valyana-chan. It's over. Valyana's fists clenched in fury at his words. Surrender? Don't look down on me, she screamed, her dragon wings flaring as she activated her divine dividing ability. Divide. Naruto's energy split in half as Valyana absorbed his power, her own power surging dramatically. You're finished, Naruto, she shouted, a confident smirk returning to her face. Naruto chuckled softly, shaking his head. Absorbing my power, hey? That takes me back to my fight with pain. But let me warn you, my power isn't so easy to handle. I'd stop if I were you. Valyana, stop. Albion's voice thundered in her mind, panic lacing his usually calm tone. His power, it's senjutsu. It's the worst kind of power for us. You can't control it. What are you talking about? Valyana snapped, but her confidence quickly turned to horror as her body betrayed her. Her wings began to harden, turning to stone before her eyes. Satria, watching from the sidelines, moved instantly. Dumbo, he growled, producing Luna extract, a special remedy he'd prepared for emergencies. In a flash, he was beside Valyana, purging the wild Senjutsu chakra and the lingering effects of Ozui Korei's Nan from her body. Cradling her in his arms, Satria carried her to safety, setting her down gently on solid ground. Valyana, overcome with shame, refused to meet his eyes. Her earlier bravado was now replaced with bitter regret. "Husband," she whispered, tears welling in her eyes. "I'm sorry. I couldn't bring you victory. I talk so big, but I'm weak. I couldn't even save myself." She knelt, bowing her head in apology. Satria crouched down, lifting her chin gently. "Stand proud, Valyana," he said softly, his tone warm. "You're strong." Her tears spilled over as she looked at him in disbelief. "What is this? You're not angry with me?" He smiled, brushing a stray tear from her cheek. "Angry? Why would I be angry, silly girl? Stand proud, Valyana, you are strong. You gave it your all. This loss is just a lesson, use it to grow stronger." Unable to hold back, Valyana buried her face in his chest, sobbing openly. Thank you for being in my life. I don't know how I'd live without you, husband." Satria hugged her tightly, his hand gently stroking her hair. "I'll always be here for you. Always." The heartfelt moment lingered, the two lost in their own world. "Ito, are you two done yet?" Naruto's voice cut through the sweetness, his amused tone breaking the atmosphere. "Seriously, lovebirds, this is a battlefield, not a romance drama." Satria pulled back with a sheepish grin. "Sorry about that. Thanks for the patience, Dobe. We're done now." Naruto crossed his arms, his brow furrowed in thought. "Okay, let's get down to business. How long are you planning to stay here? And what's your next plan? We can't afford things to go south." Satria turned to his girls, a rare seriousness settling over his usually casual demeanor. "Ladies," he said firmly, motioning for them to gather around him. They complied, curious about his tone. "Do you all truly want to become stronger?" Each one nodded with determination, their eyes reflecting their resolve. Satria's smirk widened as he stomped the ground, drawing a bold line in the dirt with his foot. "I'll be honest, I won't go easy on you just because you're my precious ones. The training I have in mind will push you beyond your limits. If you're willing to face death itself to gain true strength, cross this line. But know this, once you cross, there's no turning back. You'll spend 1 month in hell, a nightmare of unrelenting hardship. This choice is yours and yours alone. Stay in peace, or walk into chaos to become more than you are now. Choose wisely." Naruto raised an eyebrow, scratching the back of his head. "What the heck are you planning for them, brat? Sounds ominous." Without hesitation, Valyana stepped forward, her expression fierce. "I've never backed down from a challenge, and I won't start now. My name is Shidou Matsumi, the White Dragon Emperor, and I'll walk through hell if it means gaining more power." Kurumi followed with a sly smile. "My name is Kurumi Tokisaki, soon to be Kurumi Matsumi. I'll gladly embrace the challenge, Satria-sensei. I look forward to your special guidance." Fran crossed the line next, kneeling before him with the utmost respect. "I am Fran Matsumi, your blade. As your weapon, I must be strong enough to protect you and this family. I am ready to endure anything, my lord." Naruto whistled softly, impressed by their conviction. "Geez, they're more fired up than I expected. You sure you're not a cult leader, Satria?" Satria ignored him, his gaze softening briefly as he glanced at Fran. Fran's resolve, it's like looking at two different people in one body. Perfect. Now, the time has come to crush weaknesses like Malenia crushed me until you're reborn as warriors. His smile turned slightly wicked, revealing a sadistic edge. Fatalis, noticing his expression, leaned over with a teasing grin. Satria, dear, your face looks like a predator about to pounce on his prey. Let me fix that. She grabbed his cheeks, forcing him into an awkward smile. See? Much better. Stop ruining my cool moment, idiot. Satria growled, batting her hands away. Then he grinned mischievously. You know, since you're here, Fatalis, it means you're joining the training, right? Hey? No. I didn't mean it like that. I have important things to do like sleeping, culinary, and collecting video games of this world, she protested, trying to backtrack. Satria's eyes gleamed. Didn't you hear me, Fatalis? Cross the line, and you're in. No exceptions. We're going to have so much fun together. No. I'm not joining your sadistic boot camp. Fatalis backed away in mock fear, only to find Kurumi clinging to her arm. Come on, Fatalis-san, Kurumi purred, her eyes glinting with curiosity. It can't be that bad, can it? Fatalis gave her a desperate look. You don't know him in drill mode. He's... Before she could finish, one of Satria's clones appeared, snatching her up and vanishing in a blur of speed. That takes care of her, Satria said nonchalantly, turning to the last member of the group. Now. Konako. What's your choice? Konako stepped forward resolutely, her expression stoic. My name is Konako Matsumi. I'll do whatever you ask, senpai, without hesitation. I want to be stronger than I am now. Satria nodded approvingly. Good. Now, let's begin this hellish training. In an instant, Satria created 3 clones, each standing beside Valyuna, Kurumi, and Fran. Without warning, the clones teleport the trio away to their respective training locations, leaving only Konako behind. Dope, Satria said, turning to Naruto. I need you to teach Konako how to control her chakra. The devils she trained with never taught her, and her potential is being wasted. Also, we're going to work on her speed. Raw strength without precision is meaningless. Naruto sighed, scratching the back of his head. TCH, kids these days have no respect for their elders. Fine. I'll help, but don't boss me around, brat. Konako bowed politely to both of them. Thank you, Naruto-san. Senpai. Naruto placed a hand on her head, ruffling her hair. Don't thank me yet, kid. This won't be a walk in the park. Now, let's see what you're made of. Fatalis's POV. In the frost-bitten heart of Antarctica lies a gateway, a shimmering portal concealed in the land of full snow. Beyond it lies Jotunheim, the frigid domain of the frost giants, ruled by the imposing and merciless King Law Fei. The icy winds howled as Fatalis found herself standing at the edge of this strange, hostile world. Her sharp golden eyes narrowed as she glanced at Satria. How did you even find this place, my love? It's your first time here, isn't it? And what are we doing in a land ruled by literal giants? This place gives me the creeps. Satria smirked, crossing his arms. Perk of super speed, my dear. I can find a lot of interesting places. As for why we're here, it's simple: your training. He gestured dramatically toward the endless expanse of snow and jagged ice formations. You'll survive everything this realm throws at you for an entire week. For a mighty dragon like Fatalis-sama, that should be easy, right? Fatalis's jaw dropped, and a growl rumbled low in her throat. You've got to be kidding me. This is a death sentence. I don't even know this place, let alone how to survive here. And what if I'm in danger? Those guys out there, she pointed to a group of towering, fully armed frost giants patrolling nearby, don't exactly look like friendly neighbors. Don't be such a spoiled little girl, Satria teased, stepping to the cave entrance with a devilish grin. Here comes your first challenge. Hey! You big, stupid idiots, he suddenly yelled, his voice echoing across the icy terrain. The frost giants turned, their massive heads swiveling toward the sound. Their cold, glowing eyes locked on the human duo, and their growls rumbled like distant avalanches. A human, one of them snarled, his breath frosting the air. How dare a weakling enter our realm? Another giant grinned wickedly. No, brothers. We won't kill them yet. Let's play with them first. Then we feast. Satria smirked, raising his hand in a crude gesture. Hey, ugly. You know what this means. He slid his thumb between his fingers, a mocking grin plastered on his face. It's the size of your dick when you try to screw your mom. No wonder she's disappointed in you, loser. The frost giants froze for a moment, their brows furrowing as they processed the insult. Then, their fury erupted like a blizzard. Gray. Kill them. Tear them apart. The giants charged toward the cave, their massive weapons gleaming in the icy light. Run, bitch! Run! Satria shouted gleefully before bolting out of the cave at light speed. What? Idiot Satria! Idiot! Fatalis roared in frustration, chasing after him. The sound of heavy, thunderous footsteps behind her sent her heart racing. She darted through the snow, glancing around wildly. Where the hell did you go, you bastard? You just left me here. What kind of husband abandons his wife in a nightmare like this? Her voice echoed unanswered across the icy wasteland. Satria was nowhere to be seen. Fatalis skidded to a stop, her sharp claws digging into the ice as she turned to face the oncoming horde of frost giants. Her golden eyes blazed with fury, and her wings flared wide. You know what? Fine. If that idiot won't help me, I'll handle this myself. She pointed a clawed finger at the approaching giants, her voice echoing like a thunderclap. Come at me, you disgusting, overgrown snowflakes. I'll burn every one of you to ashes. Valyana's POV. Satria and Valyana trudged through an endless expanse of snow, the frigid wind biting at their faces. This desolate corner of the world seemed devoid of life, with only the crunch of their boots breaking the silence. Yet, the sheer isolation carried a sense of hidden mystery. Is this the place you were talking about, husband? Valyana asked, her voice firm despite the chill in the air. Satria nodded, a grin tugging at his lips. Yeah. This is it. A perfect place to begin your training. Amazing, isn't it? I stumbled upon these ruins while running around the area. Talk about fate. Valyana's sharp senses flared as she scanned the surroundings. You never fail to surprise me. But, there's something faint in the air. A dragon's scent. It's distant, but it's here. Good instincts, as always, Satria praised her, his expression growing serious. Valyana, someone's here. Don't let your guard down. Both of them turned their attention to the north, where the silhouette of a massive, ancient temple loomed in the distance. As they approached, the gates creaked open, revealing a figure stepping out. The man was tall and bald, his skin a striking blue hue that shimmered in the pale light. His commanding presence radiated power, and his gaze was sharp as a blade. Visitors, the man spoke, his deep voice resonating like thunder. How rare! Who are you, strangers? And what brings you to this sacred land? Satria stepped forward, maintaining his calm demeanor. Greetings. My name is Satria, and this is my wife, Valyana. We've come here for your training. Now, it's your turn. Who are you? The man paused before giving a slight bow, his expression unchanging. I am Lakong the Thunderer, guardian of Kunlun and its ancient secrets. If you have come to seek enlightenment, then you are in the right place. I can help you, particularly you, Lady Valyana, bearer of the White Dragon, Albion. Valyana's eyes narrowed. How do you know about me and Albion? What do you want from me? Her tone was cautious, yet curiosity flickered beneath her guarded demeanor. Lei Kong's lips curved into a faint smile, though his presence remained imposing. For generations, I have awaited the arrival of someone like you. The power of the dragon is immense, yet it is untamed. I offer you a chance to master it, to wield it with precision and purpose. I want you to become a vassal of the Iron Fist. Kurumi POV. The stench of vice and decay clung to the air like a foul miasma. Kurumi stood at the heart of Madripur, a lawless zone infamous for its rampant corruption and brutal inequality. The city's neon lights flickered over shadowy alleys teeming with criminals, its vibrant colors masking the rot beneath. This place was the ultimate playground for the wicked. Why did you bring me here? Kurumi asked, her voice laced with disdain as she observed the debauchery around her. A man shoved a child into the gutter while another casually peddled weapons from a rusted truck. Just looking at these bastards makes me want to puke. For the first time, Kurumi felt a genuine desire to commit atrocities against humans. Such sinful creatures. What she saw here was proof that mankind, at its worst, was irredeemable. Satria stood beside her, his gaze cold and unyielding. I brought you here because I want you to understand the depths of humanity's darkness. Madripur is the epicenter of evil, a cesspool of greed, violence, and corruption. And it is where your training begins. Kurumi turned to him, her crimson eye glowing ominously. What do you want me to do in this disgusting hellhole? I want you to learn, Satria said simply, his voice as firm as steel. Learn everything about the evil that festers here. Infiltrate the underworld, gather valuable information, and expose its darkest secrets to me. Most importantly, become the boogeyman of this city, a nightmare that even the most depraved criminals fear to speak of. Kurumi tilted her head, a mischievous smile forming on her lips. The boogeyman, hey? Sounds like a delightful title. She let her hand trail down her flintlock musket, her mind already racing with ideas. You're telling me I can do whatever I want here, right? Yes, Satria confirmed, his expression unwavering. Do as you please. Cleanse this place of its filth, feast on the souls of the wicked, and show them that even in the darkest pits of depravity, justice comes with teeth. Kurumi's eyes gleamed with anticipation as she gazed at the chaos before her. The streets were crawling with prey criminals whose sins practically dripped off their bodies like blood from a fresh wound. This city, with its crime-riddled alleys and vile populace, was a feast waiting to happen. Oh, Satria, Kurumi whispered with a playful yet menacing grin. You really know how to make a girl happy. This place, it's perfect. I'll turn Madripur into my personal hunting ground. By the time I'm done, even the shadows will fear to exist here. She took a step forward, her flintlock gleaming under the dim streetlights. The ground seemed to tremble as her aura darkened, sending an invisible ripple of dread through the streets. The criminals didn't know it yet, but a storm had arrived. Satria watched her with pride and a hint of amusement. Go on then, Kurumi. Show this city the true face of terror. As Kurumi vanished into the labyrinthine streets, the wails of her first unfortunate victims echoed in the distance. Madripur had welcomed a new monster, and she was ready to make it her domain. Fran POV. The icy chill of Antarctica gave way to a stark contrast, a lush, tropical land surrounded by volcanoes, known as the Savage Land. Here, prehistoric creatures roamed freely, a reminder of a time when humanity was not yet the dominant force. Satria, Fran, and Baban tread cautiously through the dense jungle, eyes scanning for both opportunities and threats. Why did you bring us to this dangerous land? Baban demanded, his voice sharp with irritation. And how dare you send me alone into that damned desert earlier? If I were human, I'd be nothing but a dried-up husk by now. Apologize to me. You're still alive, aren't you? That's the point, Satria replied nonchalantly. Without warning, he turned to Fran. Hold this for me. Before Fran could react, Satria grabbed Baban and hurled him toward a velociraptor stalking them from behind. Don't throw me like a toy, you asshole! Baban screeched as he wrestled with the startled dinosaur. Fran's eyes widened in disbelief. You knew we were being followed? How did you sense it without even looking? Satria smirked, turning his sharp gaze toward her. This is what I aim to teach you, Fran. The ability to sense the presence of others' observation haki. It allows you to perceive enemies even when you can't see them. With enough mastery, you'll not only predict their movements but also catch glimpses of the future. Fran's awe was palpable. That's incredible. I want to learn this skill. But before Satria could respond, Fran's instincts flared. My lord! Behind you! A colossal white serpent, a titanoboa over 100 meters long, surged from the foliage. Its pale scales shimmered ominously under the dim light, and its predatory eyes locked onto Satria. Satria turned, his grin unwavering. Lesson 2, Armament Haki. Watch closely, Fran. This is how you wear invisible armor inside your body. The titanoboa lunged, its jaws wide open, intending to crush him in a single strike. Satria! Fran screamed. He's done for! Baban shouted. The massive tail of the serpent swung like a battering ram, aiming to flatten Satria. But with a single, deliberate movement, Satria raised his arm, coating it with advanced armament haki. His hand shone faintly as if encased in an invisible shield of steel. With a deafening crack, he deflected the titanoboa's tail effortlessly, sending a shockwave through the jungle. Fran and Baban froze in awe, their mouths agape. How is this possible? Fran whispered. His strength, it's overwhelming. Satria smirked, his voice calm. Time to finish this. In a blur of motion, Satria leapt onto the titanoboa's head, his palm pressing against its thick skull. Let me borrow a move, Sir Jensen, he murmured, twisting his body into position. Rax Asha Palm. He unleashed a devastating spiral strike, the force of the blow traveling from his back through his shoulders and forearms, amplifying as it twisted into the serpent's skull. The titanoboa roared in agony, its massive body convulsing before collapsing with a thunderous crash. Satria stood atop the fallen beast, his figure framed by the chaos of the jungle. His calm demeanor only magnified the sheer dominance he had displayed. Fran stared at him, her heart pounding. He wasn't just powerful, he was awe-inspiring. Satria turned to her, extending a hand. Now, Fran, I'll ask again. Do you want to train under me? Fran fell to her knees, her voice trembling with determination. Yes. I want to learn. Please, my lord, guide me. Satria's grin softened into a proud smile. Good. Then let's begin. To be continued. Chapter 86, Chapter 71. Trial of White and Black. Kyoha Academy. Kyoha, Japan. It's been a week since the incident with Kokabeel in Kyoha, and life at the town has returned to a semblance of normalcy. At the nearby cafe, Satria's clone drinking his ice latte, relaxing under the afternoon sun. However, the tranquility was short-lived, as a group of persistent individuals surrounded him. Can you all just leave me alone? Satria muttered lazily, not even bothering to open his eyes. I know I'm handsome, amazing, and all that, but invading my personal space? Now that's crossing the line. And for the last time, I'm not joining your circus troupe, Road Gremory. It's Rias Gremory. Rias barked, her face flushing with irritation. And this isn't about that. We need your help, this is serious. It's true. Issei chimed in, desperation evident in his voice. Konako-chan, she's in danger. A guy named Black Flash has taken her hostage, and we need your help to save her. Satria's eyes opened slightly, a mock expression of concern masking the amusement brewing inside him. Oh, this is rich. They came to me of all people? This'll be fun. Someone's got a soft spot for our adorable little junior, Akeno teased with a sly smile. Cut the nonsense, Satria snapped, sitting up and feigning irritation. Tell me what happened to Konako, now. If you want to know, follow us to the meeting room in our school. This is bigger than just Konako, Sana interjected firmly. We also need answers about what you did during the Kokabeel incident. I promise on behalf of the Satria family this isn't a trap. He stood and dusted himself off. Fine. Today's an exception. I'll help because Konako is involved. Lead the way. The room buzzed with tension as Satria made his entrance. Unlike the rest, who seemed uneasy, he carried himself with unbothered confidence, slouching into a chair with one leg crossed over the other. Two imposing figures sat across from him, Surtsk's Lucifer and Seraphal Leviathan, the Mu of the underworld. Satria sized them up, noting their casual demeanors but sensing the raw power they exuded. You must be Shidou Matsumi, Surtsk began, his tone polite. The one who helped my sister during the Kokabeel incident? Yeah, that's me, Satria replied nonchalantly, lighting a cigarette. Can we skip the pleasantries and get to the point? Mind your manners. Rias snapped, furious at his casual attitude. And smoking is prohibited here. Sana added, glaring at him. I don't care if you're a king, a god, or a demon. Satria's tone was sharp, his gaze unwavering. Respect is earned, not given. So if you want mine, prove yourselves first. You. Rias started, but Surtsk raised a hand, silencing her. Relax, Rias, Surtsk said, his smile unfaltering. You're an intriguing man, Shin-kun. Who are you, really? Are you even human? I'm just an ordinary high school student, Satria replied smoothly, exhaling a puff of smoke. Lucky enough to have a great teacher who turned me into what I am today. A teacher? Rias repeated, stunned. You're saying someone trained you? Exactly. Satria leaned back, a nostalgic smirk on his face. My master is the leader of the Shadow Garden, the darkness of this world. A man of true gender equality, he wouldn't hesitate to drop-kick a woman if she deserved it. He leaned back casually. But these days, he's chosen a peaceful life with some annoying water goddess. If you need protection or, I don't know, a kick in the ass, I'm your guy. Consider me your contact for Shadow Garden's services, dear customers. He delivered the lines with a straight face, making it impossible to discern the absurdity of his words. Surtsk blinked, visibly processing. A mercenary group? I've never heard of this Shadow Garden. And the woman with the Excalibur-like weapon, is she part of your organization too? Of course, Satria said smoothly. She went through the same grueling training as I did under our master. Don't worry, we're not a threat unless someone makes themselves one to us. His smile was sharp. Now, it's your turn to introduce yourselves. Grafia narrowed her eyes. The way Satria spoke, with such pride and mystique about his so-called master, was unsettling. The darkness of the world. And living with a goddess of water? Who is this master of him, and how does someone like him stay hidden from us? Surtsk nodded. Fair enough. I'm Surtsk's Lucifer, one of the four great Mu. The woman beside me is my colleague, Seraphal Leviathan. Leviathan. Seraphal chimed, striking a magical girl pose. Nice to meet you, Shin. I heard you fought Kokabeel in a unique costume and called yourself the god of Vaporeon. That's, honestly pretty cool. Satria raised an eyebrow, biting back a laugh. You're both demon kings? You don't look like it. Especially you, magical girl. But I guess this is what they mean by don't judge a book by its cover. But it looks good on you. Keep it up. To their surprise, Satria's tone carried no trace of fear or reverence. He spoke to them as equals, something few dared to do. Seraphal beamed. You think the costume suits me? Thank you, Shin-kun. Finally, someone gets it. I do. In fact, Satria leaned forward, I can help you become a real magical girl. Your passion for the character is inspiring. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Everyone's unique, everyone's special, embrace that, and you'll shine. Seraphal's cheeks flushed slightly, her usual hyper demeanor faltering. Are really? I'm beautiful? And you could really make me a real magical girl. Nothing's impossible for a gentleman of my caliber, Satria said with exaggerated confidence, earning a mix of disbelief and amusement from the room. Seraphal laughed, hiding her flustered reaction. At first, I thought he'd be boring or uptight, but he's something else. Weirdly charming. Tsubaki leaned toward Sana, whispering, do you think they'd suit each other? Seraphal-sama seems more comfortable with him than I've ever seen her with anyone else. Sana frowned, adjusting her glasses. One of her is already hard to handle. Adding him to the mix would be a nightmare. Sertsk cleared his throat, bringing the room back to order. Interesting as this is, let's focus. Shin-kun, we've identified a new threat called Black Flash. He's taken Konako hostage. Do you know anything about him? At the mention of Black Flash, Satria's playful demeanor vanished, replaced by a chilling intensity. A faint but unmistakable murderous aura filled the room, freezing everyone in place. His eyes burned with fury, as if recalling a personal vendetta. That bastard! He muttered, his voice low and venomous. He's not just dangerous, he's one of the people my master hunts. Sertsk tensed. You mean, there are more like him? Satria's grim expression deepened, his words carrying a weight that made even the Mu uneasy. You have no idea. The universe is vast, and he is just one of many. Monsters like him, beings that thrive on chaos, exist everywhere. We've always done our best to keep their kind from entering this world. But now that one's here, perhaps we can't afford to stay secretive anymore. The room fell silent, the gravity of Satria's words sinking in. But he claims to be from the Shinto pantheon, Seraphal ventured cautiously. Satria groaned, dragging a hand down his face in exasperation. And you believed that crap? I thought demon kings were supposed to be smart and cunning. Seraphal flinched at his bluntness, while Graphia's stern expression faltered for the briefest moment. What are you saying? Sertsk asked, frowning. Satria crossed his arms, his voice steady but sharp. He's a fraud. An opportunist using the Shinto pantheon's name to cover his tracks and sow confusion. If you'd spent half as much time dealing with beings beyond this world as our group have, you'd know the difference. Rhea stared at him, wide-eyed. So you're saying he's not just a threat to us but to the entire world? Satria's gaze turned steely. Not just this world. If we let him roam unchecked, he could draw others like him here. This isn't just a local problem, it's cosmic. What are you going to do now? Are you going to help us? Seraphal asked, her tone hopeful yet cautious. Satria smirked, his aura shifting to one of confident resolve. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody gets away with kidnapping my favorite junior or causing trouble in my neighborhood. As a righteous man, let me help you defeat this Black Flash who dares disturb the peace. His bold declaration brought a mix of relief and satisfaction to the room. For Sertsk, keeping such a powerful individual close was an ideal outcome. Thank you, Shin-kun. You're certainly different from the impression my sister gave me. He glanced toward Rias, whose cheeks flushed as she looked away. Sertsk continued, as a token of our gratitude for saving Rias from Kokabeel, I'd like to offer my assistance. Tell me what you desire, and I'll do my best to grant it. Before Satria could respond, Seraphal jumped in with her characteristic enthusiasm. I'll top that offer. How about becoming my queen, Shin-kun? You'll have everything you've ever wanted if you join my royal family. We'd have so much fun together. What do you say? The room froze, everyone stunned by Seraphal's unprecedented move. "I refuse." The rejection was instant and decisive, reverberating like a thunderclap. He rejected her immediately. Issei and Saji exclaimed in unison, utterly baffled. How could he refuse Leviathan's invitation? Sana and her peerage stared in shock, unable to comprehend the boldness of such a refusal. Ria stepped forward, her voice tinged with disbelief. "Are you serious? It's Leviathan we're talking about. People would kill for a chance to join her peerage, let alone as her queen." Seraphal, though taken aback, remained composed. "Can you explain why, Shin-kun? Becoming a part of the Demon King's peerage comes with countless privileges. You'll gain immense strength, magical power, and access to ancient knowledge. You'd be elevated to high-rank devil status instantly, with wealth and resources beyond your imagination. You could even form your own peerage. Eternal life, luxury, power. Doesn't any of this appeal to you?" Her tone carried genuine curiosity and a hint of disappointment. For the first time, someone had made her feel that she wasn't enough to sway them. Satria's expression turned serious, his voice calm but firm. "First, I was born human, and I'll die human. Second, eternal life doesn't interest me. Third, your offer sounds too good, there must be strings attached. Lastly, I don't let anyone put a leash on me. Let me remind you, never underestimate humanity, devil." As he spoke his final words, an icy pressure blanketed the room. The air felt heavy, suffocating even the strongest among them. The younger devils struggled to breathe, their eyes wide with fear. "You know nothing of humanity's infinite potential for evolution," Satria said coldly, his presence radiating authority and conviction. For the first time, both Mu felt genuine fear of a human. His words weren't mere boasts, they were a declaration of unshakable truth. And just as quickly as it appeared, the oppressive aura vanished. "Oops, sorry about that." Satria scratched the back of his head sheepishly, the atmosphere instantly lightening. "Forget what I just said, haha. Anyway, for my reward, I'd appreciate it if you could fund my project." The sudden shift left everyone stunned. "Don't wish for the impossible, Surtsks," Seraphal and Graphia muttered in unison, their instincts cautioning them against underestimating this young man. Curiosity piqued, Surtsks leaned forward. "What kind of project, Shin-kun?" Satria smiled, pulling out a sleek folder from his dimensional storage. "Here. It's all laid out for you: mission, values, business model, target market, marketing strategy, and everything else you need to know." He handed the folder to both Mu, who immediately began skimming through it. As they read, their expressions shifted from surprise to amusement, then to admiration. "This is brilliant," Surtsks admitted, clearly impressed. "For a high school student, you've crafted a remarkably well thought out concept. I don't mind investing in this." Seraphal beamed, her excitement evident. "How long would it take to bring this to life, Shin-kun? This could be a game changer not just for you but for everyone involved." Satria's grin widened. "About that. Uzumaki Training Ground. Forested Massachusetts." Konako stood at the edge of the training field, her usually pristine uniform replaced by sweat-drenched, torn workout clothes. For the past 7 days, she had been enduring what could only be described as hell. Under the joint tutelage of Satria and Naruto, her training pushed her to limits she never knew existed. From controlling chakra to mastering balance and speed, making split-second decisions, and refining her hand-to-hand combat techniques, every session left her questioning her life choices. But today was just another day in the inferno. For 2 days straight, she had been forced to walk on boiling water while maintaining precise chakra control, all while engaging in hand-to-hand combat on the water's surface. Exhaustion wasn't an option. Satria or Naruto would replenish her stamina the moment she faltered. Satria's methods were particularly sadistic. He ordered her to do push-ups with a single finger, balancing a leaf on her head using only chakra. Every 5 minutes, she had to switch fingers, and heaven forbid if she dropped the leaf. There was also the torturous split stance where she balanced buckets of water on her hands and feet while perched atop sharp spikes Naruto had created. If she fell, the punishment was immediate and merciless. Naruto's training wasn't much better. If she failed, she had to refill the buckets, climb back up, and set everything up again. Over and over. And so, there she was, wobbling atop the spikes, her legs shaking like leaves in the wind. "Gotta say," Satria called out, his tone mischievous as he perched comfortably atop a spike, flipping through one of Jiraiya's less than reputable novels. "You look good in that outfit, Konako. Really good. I can almost imagine us doing a different kind of training on top of these spikes, under the stars. What do you think, love?" Konako's cheeks turned scarlet as his words registered. Her balance faltered. "Pervert senpai. You're worse than Issei senpai," she stammered, but the vivid image in her mind made her slip further. Before she could recover, she lost her footing entirely, plummeting 300 feet toward the ground. Ah! Instinctively, her devil wings flared to catch her, saving her from a painful crash. Unfortunately for Konako, her moment of relief was short-lived. Satria caught her mid-air with telekinesis, pulling her back to the spikes. His smirk widened, and a dark, almost gleeful aura surrounded him. "Tisk, tisk, Konako-chan. What did we say about using your wings during training?" Konako gulped, her body trembling under his scrutinizing gaze. "Oh, lucky you," he continued, cracking his knuckles. "It's my turn to enforce the punishment. We're going to have so much fun, kiddo." His tone was far too cheerful, which only made it more terrifying. "Senpai, please be gentle." Konako's ears drooped as she made the cutest face she could muster, hoping for even a shred of mercy. Satria leaned in closer, a devilish grin on his face. "Gentle? Oh, don't worry, Konako. I'll be as gentle as this training has been so far." Konako groaned internally. This was going to be a very, very long day. Savage Land. "What are we going to do first, my lord?" Fran asked Satria, her voice steady despite the unease in her eyes. Satria smirked and activated a unique ability, combining his stand-s power to halt time with the Op no Mi. A transparent sphere enveloped the two of them, shimmering faintly as the flow of time slowed dramatically within its boundaries. "What's this?" Fran asked, wide-eyed as she observed the strange phenomenon. "I call it time zone," Satria explained, crossing his arms confidently. "Within this sphere, the concept of time moves differently. I developed this skill recently. It's useful for training and, more importantly, for saving time. While a single day passes for the outside world, weeks or even years can pass here." Fran's eyes sparkled in awe. "Wow! That's amazing! The first year, foundations." The initial phase of Fran's training was deceptively ordinary, focusing on the fundamentals. One combat training, Satria began by teaching her Silat, a martial art he believed was perfectly suited for Fran's small and agile frame. He emphasized quick strikes, counters, and adaptability. "If you're ever separated from your sword, you'll need to rely on your body as a weapon," he had told her. Fran quickly discovered how to turn her small stature into an advantage, using speed and precision to overwhelm larger opponents. 2 magic lessons, though Satria's knowledge of magic was limited compared to the true magicians of Fran's world, he shared crucial tips. Control and concealment. Never let anyone gauge the full extent of your mana. Always conceal your true capabilities. Show them only 10% of your potential, nothing more, nothing less except the situation forcing you. Creative applications. He demonstrated how spells could be combined for greater effect, water and wind to create wood, fire and wind for devastating flames, wind and ice to generate blizzards. Satria handed her a special mana-absorbing paper he had acquired through the dimensional chat. This will help us identify your elemental affinities. Infuse it with your mana. Fran obeyed, and the results were astonishing. The paper burned, wrinkled, tore, soaked, and crumbled, indicating affinities for fire, lightning, wind, water, and earth. Among these, lightning and wind stood out the most. 5 elements, Satria muttered, impressed. Looks like I've got my work cut out for me. 3 soldiers' discipline, Satria instilled in Fran the discipline of a soldier, teaching her survival tactics for various terrains, the importance of adaptability, and strategies for maintaining composure under pressure. 4 Haki mastery, over time, Satria introduced Fran to the 3 forms of Haki. Observation Haki, sensing enemies and predicting movements. Armament Haki, enhancing her physical strikes and weapons with invisible armor. Conqueror's Haki, an advanced ability he pushed her to unlock, emphasizing that her strong will could subdue even the most fearsome opponents. By the end of the first year, Satria judged Fran ready to move on from basic training. Satria grinned, his tone taking a dark edge as he announced, "You've completed the basics. Now, the real training begins." Fran felt a chill run down her spine. She noticed the slight smirk on his face and realized something terrible was about to unfold. Before she could respond, a notification from the dimensional chat appeared before her. Special mission generated, survive the Savage Land. Objective: complete 3 trials within the Savage Land. Avoid death or incapacitation. Demonstrate mastery of combat, survival, and strategic thinking. The details sent a wave of apprehension through Fran, but she clenched her fists, determination flaring in her eyes. "Remember," Satria said, his voice calm but firm. "This is a test of everything you've learned so far. Out there, it's just you and the wilderness. Survive, adapt, and evolve. Show me the blade you're meant to become." Fran nodded, her fear melting away into resolve. "I won't disappoint you, my lord." And with that, her nightmare and greatest challenge began. Konako POV. An isolated peak in the Everest region, far removed from any human presence. The air was razor thin, the cold biting deep enough to freeze one's soul, and the howling winds screamed like banshees. This was no place for comfort, this was a crucible. Day 1, Arrival at Hell. Konako stared at the desolate, frozen wasteland before her. She shivered, clutching her coat tightly. The journey here had already pushed her to her limits, but her trainer, Satria, looked completely at ease, standing atop a boulder as though he owned the mountain. "Senpai," she called out, her voice trembling from the cold and fatigue, "are we really training here? I can't even feel my fingers anymore." Satria smirked, his breath visible in the freezing air. "Feel your fingers? You're lucky you still have fingers." He clapped his hands, the sound echoing across the snow-covered peaks. "Listen up, Konako. Senjutsu is about sensing and controlling the natural energy around you, blending it with your own. This mountain is alive, its energy is pure, raw, and untamed. If you can't handle it here, you don't deserve to use Senjutsu." Konako frowned. "But..." "No buts." His tone turned sharp, cutting through her protest. "This is an unlock or die situation, kid. You either master this, or the mountain consumes you. Simple as that." Konako's blood ran cold. She wasn't sure if it was from the temperature or the gravity of his words. Day 3, the first trial. Satria placed Konako on the edge of a sheer cliff. Below her was a drop so deep that the bottom disappeared into a swirling mist of snow. He pointed to a small patch of rocks halfway down. "Your first task," he announced, "is to meditate on that ledge. Feel the energy of the mountain. Let it flow into you." Konako blinked. "On that ledge? I'll fall." "Exactly." Satria grinned. "The fear of death sharpens the senses. Now go." Konako hesitated, her body trembling, but Satria's unrelenting gaze offered no sympathy. She took a deep breath and leapt, her hands and feet finding purchase on the icy rock face. Slowly, she climbed down to the ledge, her heart pounding with every movement. Sitting cross-legged, she closed her eyes and tried to focus, but the howling winds and biting cold made it nearly impossible. Her mind raced with doubts and fears, the mountain's overwhelming presence pressing down on her. "You're overthinking." Satria's voice boomed from above. "Stop fighting the mountain. Let it flow through you. Become one with it." Konako gritted her teeth and tried again. This time, she slowed her breathing, letting the cold seep into her bones. She began to sense something, a faint, pulsing rhythm in the earth beneath her. Day 7, Survival of the Fittest. After days of grueling trials, including running barefoot through the snow and meditating under waterfalls that threatened to freeze her solid, Konako was near her breaking point. Her body ached, her mind was frayed, and she hadn't eaten anything but scraps of dried meat. Satria tossed her like a feral animal. "Senpai," she gasped, collapsing into the snow, "I can't do this anymore." Satria knelt beside her, his expression uncharacteristically serious. "Do you know why I'm pushing you so hard?" She shook her head weakly. "Because senjutsu isn't just a power, it's a connection to life itself. To wield it, you need to understand the balance between life and death, between fear and courage. Right now, you're standing on that edge. The question is, will you fall, or will you rise?" Konako closed her eyes, his words sinking in. She took a deep, trembling breath and forced herself to stand. "Good," Satria said, his smirk returning. "Now, the final test." The final test, becoming one with nature. Satria led Konako to a narrow bridge of ice spanning a chasm so deep it seemed to pierce the earth itself. "Walk across," he commanded. "What?" Konako stared at him, horrified. "That's impossible. The ice will break." "Exactly." He crossed his arms, his gaze unyielding. "The only way to survive is to use senjutsu to sense the ice's natural energy. Feel its strength and weakness. Walk in harmony with it." Konako swallowed hard, her heart pounding. This was at the moment of truth. She stepped onto the ice, her legs shaking. She closed her eyes, reaching out with her senses. At first, all she felt was cold, but then she began to notice subtle vibrations beneath her feet, the shifting currents of air, the tension in the ice. She adjusted her steps, moving with the flow of energy rather than against it. Halfway across, the ice cracked beneath her, but instead of panicking, she leapt forward, landing on a stable patch. By the time she reached the other side, she was gasping for breath but grinning triumphantly. Satria clapped slowly. "Not bad, kitty. Not bad at all." As they descended the mountain, Konako felt different, stronger, more connected to the world around her. She could sense the energy of the mountain, the wind, even Satria himself. "You've done well," Satria said, his tone unusually kind. "But remember, this is just the beginning. Senjutsu isn't a skill you master overnight, it's a lifelong journey." Konako nodded, determination shining in her eyes. "I'll make you proud, senpai." Satria chuckled. "You already have, Konako." After witnessing Konako's remarkable improvement, Naruto couldn't help but feel both amazed and curious. Her movements were sharper, her aura more controlled, and she carried herself with newfound confidence. "Oi, Satria," Naruto called out, crossing his arms. "What the hell kind of training did you put her through? Do you know how to use senjutsu or something?" Satria, sitting casually on a rock while munching on some jerky, waved him off lazily. "Me? Nah, I don't use senjutsu. I just know the basics, you know? The theory, the concept of natural energy, how to balance it with your life force, yada yada. I just put it into practice and bam! Results." He snapped his fingers for emphasis, grinning like it was no big deal. Naruto stared at him, completely dumbfounded. Bam? Seriously? That's your explanation? He scratched his head, frustration evident on his face. I don't even know what you're talking about, brat, but somehow you've managed to make it work. How is that even possible? Satria shrugged, leaning back with a smug grin. Talent, maybe? Or my natural charm? Naruto groaned. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Turning to Konako, Naruto asked cautiously, what exactly did he do to you? How did he manage to get these results? Konako froze at the question, her face going pale as if reliving a nightmare. Her hands clenched, and she shivered slightly. He's the most sadistic tutor in the world. Satria, feigning offense, placed a hand on his chest as though her words physically hurt him. Sadistic? Me? Really, Konako-chan? After everything I've done for you? The blood, sweat, and tears I poured into making you stronger? I thought we had something special. He pouted dramatically, looking away as if heartbroken. Konako shot him a glare, her ears twitching in irritation. Special? You made me meditate on an icy cliff for 3 days with no food or water, pushed me into a pit of wolves to bond with nature, and made me balance on a pole above a raging waterfall while dodging falling rocks. How is that special? Satria tilted his head, looking thoughtful. Hey! When you say it like that, it does sound a bit extreme. A bit. Konako and Naruto yelled in unison. Naruto shook his head in disbelief, pointing at Satria. You're insane, you know that? Who trains like that? But it worked, didn't it? Satria shot back, smirking. He gestured at Konako. Look at her now, stronger, faster, and way more in tune with natural energy. My methods might be unorthodox, but they get results. Can you argue with success? Naruto sighed, rubbing his temples. I guess not. But you're still nuts, Datebao. Konako crossed her arms, muttering under her breath, nuts is an understatement. Satria grinned at her. You're welcome, by the way. Despite her annoyance, Konako couldn't completely suppress a small smile. As much as she hated his methods, she couldn't deny that she'd grown stronger, and for that, she was grateful. Savage Land. The Savage Land, a realm of untamed wilderness, was a living nightmare filled with monstrous predators and relentless dangers. It was here that Fran's training reached a level most would deem cruel, inhumane, and utterly brutal. The journey began with the trio Satria, Fran, and Baban cutting through hordes of ferocious beasts. Their teamwork kept them alive, but every battle tested Fran's limits. The stakes were high, and failure meant death. To make matters worse, Satria applied a weight seal gifted by Naruto to both himself and Fran. For Fran, the seal added 2 tons to her body, turning even the simplest movements into grueling tasks. For Satria, it was an unimaginable 85,000 tons, a testament to the immense power of an Ultraman. He wanted Fran to understand the gap in strength and the heights she needed to climb. From his usual goofy demeanor, Satria transformed into a cold and merciless instructor. Without warning, he launched surprise attacks on Fran from sunrise to sunset, pushing her to her breaking point. Every strike came with lessons how to counter, how to adapt, and how to survive. When night fell, he left her alone in the forest. The darkness was alive with predators, dinosaurs, colossal insects, and carnivorous plants that showed no mercy. Fran and Baban had had no choice but to fight for their lives. Escape wasn't an option, survival was the only goal. Satria's approach was unforgiving. He stripped Fran of her sword and began teaching her how to turn her body into a weapon. He introduced his own versions of Shigen and Rankyaku, devastating techniques from One Piece, adapted to utilize Fran's magical enhancements. The process was relentless. First, he explained the mechanics. Shigen, using a concentrated burst of energy, she could turn her fingers into piercing weapons capable of puncturing even tough hide. Rankyaku, by enhancing her kicks with magic, she could create sharp, blade-like air slashes to strike enemies from a distance. The moment Fran showed a glimmer of understanding, Satria wasted no time. He hurled her into a raptor nest, forcing her to master Shigen in life-or-death combat. The next trial was even worse. He dropped her into the domain of pteranodons, where she had to perfect Rankyaku or be torn apart. The weight seal made every movement agonizing. Each failed attempt resulted in deep wounds and heavy bleeding. Her body accumulated damage with each trial, but her willpower kept her going. At night, the forest was a waking nightmare. Fran, battered and bleeding, faced relentless attacks from monstrous predators. The ground shook under the steps of colossal dinosaurs, while the air buzzed with the wings of carnivorous insects. Even the plants were out to devour her. Despite the horrors, Fran pushed forward. Satria's cold words rang in her ears. "Surpass your limits or die. That's the only way to grow." Baban, her loyal sword, was furious. He hated seeing Fran suffer and cursed Satria at every turn. But Satria ignored the insults, his eyes fixed on Fran's progress. He trusted her to endure. Fran's sheer determination bore fruit. Within 3 days, she achieved the impossible, mastering the basics of Shigen and Rankyaku and evolving from a black cat to a heavenly tigerkin. Her new form was proof of her growth, radiating power and pride. But her victory came at a cost. Fran's body was a patchwork of bruises, cuts, and exhaustion. Even standing was a miracle. Yet, she stood tall, her resolve shining brighter than ever. Baban wept for his wielder, lamenting her suffering. But Satria only gave a small, satisfied nod. He wasn't heartless. This was his way of showing trust. Fran's success wasn't just about brute force or endurance. It was about trust. Satria believed in Fran's kindness, intelligence, fearlessness, and loyalty. He saw the potential in her, and his brutal methods were the fastest way to unlock it. "You have what it takes, Fran," Satria said quietly as she stood before him, battered but unbroken. "You're more than just a girl with a sword. You're a warrior who's going to change the world." Fran POV. "It hurts. Pain courses through my body like I've never felt before. It's sharp, relentless, and all-consuming. Even the torment I endured as a slave, the cruel lashes and beatings from those bastards who once owned me, feels like a distant shadow compared to this. This is different. This is something new. My armor hangs in tatters, barely clinging to my trembling frame. Every muscle screams in agony, every inch of my body feels like it's on fire. Moving is a near impossible feat, and hunger gnaws at my stomach, parched lips cracking with thirst. I want to cry. Desperately. But I won't. I can't. I refuse to show weakness, not to him. Surprisingly, I don't resent him for putting me through this. I should, shouldn't I? But deep down, I'm grateful. He doesn't treat me like a fragile girl. He doesn't coddle me or tell me to stop because it's too hard. No, he demands more, pushing me to limits I didn't even know existed. For the first time, someone looks at me and sees more than a broken girl. He sees potential. Stop. You damn monster. That's enough. Master Baban's voice cuts through the haze of pain. I manage to lift my head slightly, catching sight of his desperate expression. I know he means well, he cares for me, maybe even sees me as a daughter. But this is my trial. Hey, Satria's voice snaps my attention back to him. He stands there, arms crossed, his gaze piercing and unyielding. Don't just lie there. Are you done already, Fran? Where's the spirit you showed me on the first day? What happened to that fire in your eyes? I grit my teeth, his words cutting deeper than any blade. It's laughable, he continues, his tone cold but with a spark of something else, a challenge. The one who claims to be my blade, lying there, defeated by pain. Show me, Fran. Show me that you're not just a little girl who needs pity. Prove to me that you're capable of surpassing your limits. His words light a fire in my chest. The ache in my body doesn't vanish, but it dulls in the face of my growing determination. He's not mocking me out of cruelty, he's testing me, challenging me to rise above, to become stronger. With a trembling hand, I push against the ground, my arms quaking under the strain. My legs feel like lead, but I force them to move. Slowly, shakily, I rise to my feet. I'm not done yet, I manage to say, my voice hoarse but steady. Satria smirks, just barely. It's not a mocking grin but one of approval, faint and fleeting, but there nonetheless. Good, he says simply. Now, show me what you've got. Fran, despite the pain, managed a small smile. She didn't resent him. In fact, she was grateful. For the first time, she felt truly strong and she knew it was only the beginning. To be continued. Chapter 87, Chapter 72. Tough outside, soft inside. Kyoto, Japan. Under the gentle glow of the moonlight, a couple strolled down the picturesque streets of Kyoto. The soft rustle of their matching white kimonos complemented the serene ambience, a clear sign to the world that they belonged to each other. The man, Satria, walked with a calm confidence, while the woman, Kiyohime, clung affectionately to his arm. Tonight was theirs, a rare moment of solitude away from the bustling chaos of their lives. It's been a while since we had a night like this, just the two of us, Satria began, his voice tinged with a mix of gratitude and guilt. I'm sorry I haven't spent as much time with you as I should, Kiyohime. Kiyohime's lips curved into a sweet yet mischievous smile, her eyes glinting in the moonlight. If you're truly sorry, Danasama, then stop bringing more girls into our family. Her tone was light, but the underlying edge made Satria break into a nervous sweat. So sorry about that. Satria stammered, scratching the back of his head awkwardly. I swear I never planned for any of this. In my past life, I didn't even have a single girlfriend and focusing on my career. This is all new to me. He paused, his nervous demeanor softening as he turned to her and gently pulled her into his arms. Pressing a kiss to her forehead, he spoke with heartfelt sincerity. But remember this, Haim, you are my first love. No matter what happens or how much time passes, you'll always be my everything. I'll never get bored of you, and I'll love you forever. Kiyohime blushed, her cheeks glowing like cherry blossoms in the spring. She averted her eyes, trying to maintain her composure, but his words melted her resolve. Baka Danasama, she murmured, her voice a mix of affection and exasperation. He chuckled, pleased by her reaction. Where are we headed now, Danasama? She asked, eager for the next part of their evening. Satria's lips curled into a playful grin. Now, Haim, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you, would it? She giggled softly, her earlier tension forgotten. You're right, Danasama. Lead the way. With that, the two continued their walk, the tranquil streets of Kyoto serving as the perfect backdrop to their quiet, tender romance. Ancient City, Kunlun. 495. 496. 497. 498. 499. 500. Valyana's fists slammed repeatedly into the dense, unyielding surface of a vibranium block. Her knuckles bled from the effort, staining the ancient metal. Dressed in a traditional martial arts gi, designed for ease of movement and practicality, she stood on the snow-covered peak of Kunlun, sweat dripping from her forehead despite the freezing temperatures. The vibranium, a prize from an illicit trade during Kurumi's training, was nearly unbreakable. Yet, under Valyana's relentless strikes over the past week, cracks had begun to form, a testament to her growth under the brutal tutelage of both Satria and Lei Kong. Enough! Take a break, Valyana, Satria commanded, his voice calm but firm. Valyana looked at her hands, bruised and bleeding, her lips curving into a small smile despite the pain. The vibranium was proving stubborn, but the results of her training were undeniable. I feel stronger, she admitted, though her body ached in protest. Valyana observed her husband closely, shirtless, his muscular frame glistening in the cold mountain air. Valyana's gaze lingered on him, her mind momentarily wandering to less disciplined thoughts. How does he make even training look this good? Why are you staring at me like that? Satria raised an eyebrow, sensing the shift in her demeanor. Valyana quickly averted her gaze, laughing nervously. And no reason. Hee hee. Sure, no reason at all, Satria replied dryly, pulling her closer to inspect her injuries. His touch was gentle as he channeled healing energy into her battered hands, making her wince slightly before the pain faded. Thanks, hubby, Valyana said gratefully. Her stomach growled loudly, breaking the serene moment. She blushed furiously, glaring at her traitorous body. Satria smirked. Hungry, hey? Perfect timing for dinner. He reached into his dimensional storage, pulling out a bag of snacks from another world. Go wash your hands first. You'll want them clean for this. Valyana did as instructed, the temple's warmth a stark contrast to the freezing conditions outside. When she returned, she saw Satria setting up a small picnic with snacks neatly arranged on a mat. Curious, she grabbed one of the treats and took a bite. Her eyes lit up. This is delicious. What's it called? Terang bulan, Satria said proudly. Then his tone grew serious. Now, listen carefully. If anyone calls this martabak manis, you must correct them immediately. It's a matter of principle, Valyana. Integrity is important. Valyana laughed, shaking her head. You're ridiculous. She grabbed his collar, pulling him closer. Do you know what's sweeter than this snack? What? Satria asked, genuinely curious. You. She smirked before pulling him into a deep kiss, savoring the moment. Can you two stop being so lovey-dovey all the time? Give me a break. Albion's grumbling voice echoed in her mind, breaking the spell. Not here, Valyana, Satria said, pulling back. This isn't our home. Show some respect. Valyana pouted. So, no fun. Nope. Just a little, she tried, giving him her best puppy dog eyes. Still no. He flicked her forehead lightly. Ow. You're no fun, hubby, she whined, rubbing the spot. Suddenly, Satria turned his attention toward one of the temple pillars. Lei Kong, you can stop hiding now. A large, muscular figure stepped out from the shadows. Lei Kong, the Thunderer of Kunlun, strode forward with a commanding presence and joined the couple. Impressive progress, Lady Valyana, Lei Kong said, his deep voice resonating. However, to reach your true potential, you must cast aside worldly distractions and focus completely on your training. Valyana groaned. You're just as strict as my husband. Azazel wasn't this harsh when he trained me. And look where that got you, Satria retorted, flicking her forehead again. We're here to push you beyond your limits, not coddle you. Lei Kong nodded in agreement. Your strength is undeniable, but your lack of patience and discipline holds you back. We must refine both to unleash your true potential. Satria smirked. That's why tomorrow, we're starting a new phase of training. What phase? Valyana asked, curious. You're going to become an anti-mage, Satria declared. Anti-mage? Albion echoed in surprise. Anti-mages are warriors from another world who specialize in countering and destroying magic. He's skilled enough to battle even dead gods. Considering your weaknesses during your sparring match with Naruto, this training is non-negotiable. Are you ready to accept this path? Valyana fell silent, replaying her embarrassing defeat in her mind. The gap between her confidence and her actual strength had been laid bare, and it stung. But instead of despair, a determined fire lit in her eyes. "Bring it on," she said with a confident smirk. Satria chuckled. "That's my dragon princess." Jotunheim. Satria's clone stood on a frosty ridge, sipping a steaming cup of Weidang Jahe as he observed the chaotic scene unfolding below. His partner, the black dragon Fatalis, was rampaging through the land of frost giants. The giants, with their brutal strength and honed instincts as apex predators, were formidable foes for most. But Satria wasn't most people. And neither was Fatalis. "These guys are brutal, strong, but wow, what a bunch of idiots," Satria muttered, watching the frost giants charge recklessly at Fatalis only to be swatted away like flies. How the hell did Loki, the trickster god, come from this herd of muscle-brained lunatics? Mystery of life, I suppose. He took another sip of his drink, letting the warmth spread through his body. Perfect drink for this climate, he thought contentedly. As he relaxed, something chimed with a notification. __. Shin Logan. Shin, the most benevolent, handsome, and genius man has arrived. What do you need from me, my humble followers? Kazuma-sama, if you're benevolent, then I'm the god of kindness. Shin, shut it, Lolizuma. I know you're jealous of my brilliance. If you beg me, I might even teach you how to stop being a spineless beta afraid of making moves to the girls in your house. Kazuma-sama, don't call me Lolizuma. And for the last time, I'm not afraid of them, they're just not my type. God of hope, at evil, please handle your troublesome brat. He's at it again. Shin, don't bring my girlfriend into this, you blonde idiot. Evil spirit, Aram, my dear Satria, do you want me to report this to Kiyoheim and the others? Shin, I humbly apologize for my foolish behavior, my beautiful lady. Please grant me mercy, and I promise to reform myself. I beseech you not to inform them of this incident. Thank you. Sincerely, Kurumi Tokisaki. Person with folded hands. Evil spirit. Spider-Man, did this guy just write a formal apology, in a group chat? King of Knights, I genuinely don't understand what you see in this man, at evil. Evil spirit, sometimes I don't either. But, he's unique. Robin, hey at Shin, we found two teenagers in Cadmus Labs with faces resembling Superman and Wonder Woman. What should we do with them? Are they safe to bring back? Shin, tricky situation. They're likely clones created using the DNA of Superman and Wonder Woman. Cadmus doesn't create anything without a purpose, they're government weapons. Before bringing them back, you'll need to disable or remove the control chips implanted in them. Spider-Man, wait, clones? Are you saying there are clones of superheroes running around? Shin, bingo. And not just in your world. Who knows, Peter? Someone might have already cloned you. Spider-Man, what? You're joking, right? Shin, who knows? Smirking face. Death, ha ha ha. So, the great protectors of humanity are reduced to mere tools for their government's paranoia. Why bother protecting them at all? They are so ungrateful. Shin, you're thinking from a conqueror's perspective, Death. For normal humans, Superman is like a god. They're right to be cautious. Imagine if someone as powerful as him turned against humanity. Robin, that's ridiculous. Superman and Wonder Woman sacrifice everything to protect people. Shin, and that's why they're heroes. But everyone has their breaking point. For Superman, that point is Lois Lane. If something happens to her, well, let's just say, you don't want to see what he's capable of. Robin, what does that mean? Shin, no spoilers. Just keep Joker far away from him and your mentor. Trust me on this. Kazuma-sama, what's this multiverse nonsense anyway? Is this some threat that could reach my world too? Shin, pray it doesn't. Just don't break the source wall. Now, let's drop the grim topics. There are countless futures, and this is just one possibility. Stick with me, and we'll build a brighter one together. Kazuma-sama, you charge us for every bit of advice, you greedy bastard. Shin, nothing in life is free, dude. Work for what you want. Kazuma-sama, I hate working. Shin, same. Evil spirit, hopeless, both of you. Trash Zuma, don't influence my adorable boy to become a neat like you. Kazuma-sama, why is this always my fault? Shin, who are you calling adorable? I'm not some cute pet, and stop comparing me to shady Trash Zuma. Kazuma-sama, who are you calling shady? Spider-Man, Kurumi really does treat Shin like an overprotective mom. Robin, I'm logging out. Got a mission to finish with at Cookies and at Emilia. We'll continue this later. Robin has logged out. Spider-Man, by the way, the Fantastic Four invited us to a party at their headquarters in Manhattan next month. I'll be attending with Bayopan and Gwen to discuss my plans for starting a company. I could use their input. Shin, a company? What kind of business are you thinking about, Peter? Spider-Man, a tech company. Aerospace, security, advanced technologies, a global scope. The mission is to build a better future, not just to make money, though Bayopan and Gwen keep reminding me I'll need to focus on profits, too. I still have a lot to learn about business. Evil spirit, Aira, that's a noble ambition, little spider. How about learning from my boy? He may not look it, but he's an excellent businessman. Shin, what kind of impression do you have of me? Baka Kurumi. Unamused face. Evil spirit, it's a secret fufu. Kazuma-sama, damn it, Peter. I'm jealous. You've got two supportive girls by your side while I've got nothing but trouble. Pervert sage, haha, Peter-kun, you're a good kid. This old man gives you his blessing. Let me know if you need my help. God of hope, I wish you success, Peter. Your honesty and dedication will serve you well. King of Knights, indeed. I support you too, Peter. You're a righteous and earnest young man, unlike these jokers. Spider-Man, thanks, everyone. Satria scrolled through the conversation, a faint smile playing on his lips. Peter's got guts, I'll give him that, he muttered. But the business world isn't like fighting villains in tights. It's cutthroat survival of the fittest. And Tony Stark? He's not the kind of guy to sit back and watch a newcomer enter his arena without a fight. He shook his head, placing his now empty cup aside. If Peter wants to succeed, he'll need more than dreams and determination. He'll need sharp instincts, unshakable resolve, and the ability to play the long game. Fatalis POV. The Dragon of Calamity, Fatalis, soared above Jotunheim's frost-bitten expanse, her crimson scales glinting under the icy sun. Her body, once feared as the pinnacle of destruction, was now worn down from battling the realm's countless monstrosities. Yet, her primal instincts honed over millennia kept her alive. Every foe was reduced to ash, every threat extinguished. Damn that Satria, she growled, her wings faltering slightly as exhaustion began to creep in. Throwing me into this hellhole without so much as a warning. Desperate for shelter, she spied a ruined temple half buried in snow and ice. Transforming into her human form, a tall, statuesque woman with flowing purple hair and piercing crimson eyes, she staggered inside, seeking respite. The air within was cold, yet an unnatural heat prickled at her senses. In the heart of the ruin, she found the source, a crimson blade thrust into the ground, emanating a sinister aura wrapped in black miasma. Oh, she murmured, her lips curling into a wicked smirk. So, you're the one calling me here. The blade whispered dark promises, its voice insidious and tempting, but Fatalis stood unmoved. You fool! Do you know who I am? I'm the incarnate of evil, the destroyer of worlds. You dare to try and corrupt me? How insulting, but interesting. She wrapped her fingers around the hilt, feeling a surge of dark energy course through her body. The blade responded eagerly, its power growing with her touch. Ah, I see now. You're the dark counterpart of Excalibur. How fascinating. She pulled the sword from the ground with a burst of energy. Let's see what you're capable of. Emerging from the ruins, Fatalis unleashed her newfound weapon on an unsuspecting group of frost giants. The blade's malevolent energy resonated with her, growing in size to match her dragon form as she transformed. Gay! How can a dragon wield a sword? One giant bellowed in terror. Fatalis grinned, her sharp teeth glinting. Never seen a dragon swordsman before? Allow me to demonstrate. She swung the blade in a wide arc, releasing a devastating energy slash. Get Shuga Tensho, she roared, inspired by a memory from Satria's mind. The attack cleaved through her enemies, leaving behind scorched, lifeless remains. Akh! This dragon is dangerous. Retreat and report to Lord La Fei. Run, cowards! Tremble before me, Fatalis Sama! Her manic laughter echoed through the battlefield as the giants fled. Watching from a distance, Satria couldn't help but chuckle. She's really leaning into her role as the Dragon of Calamity. Where'd she even get that sword? His musings were interrupted by the appearance of two colossal wolves, their black and white fur gleaming under the pale light. Their glowing eyes, one red, one blue, locked onto Fatalis. Fatalis growled low, her tail flicking with irritation. What now? More pests. The wolves prowled closer, their snarls vibrating the air. Meanwhile, Satria, standing a safe distance away, was lost in thought until he noticed the new arrivals. A wide grin spread across his face. Oh wow, they're so cute, he exclaimed, summoning his Cosmo plug with glee. Mission received. A notification appeared before Satria. Special mission to Shin. Defeat the children of Fenrir. Defeat Skull. Defeat Heitai. He glanced at Fatalis, who had turned her attention to the approaching wolves. Rain of fire, she roared, unleashing a meteor shower from the sky. The blazing projectiles obliterated any frost giant remnants in their path, reducing them to nothingness. Fatalis shifted her focus back to the wolves. And now you two mutts want a piece of me? I'm not even here for your damn territory, you idiots. The wolves didn't falter, their gaze unwavering as they prepared to attack. With a furious leap, they lunged at Fatalis. A beam of radiant light suddenly shot through the air, intercepting the wolves mid-attack and throwing them back. Are you okay, Fatalis? Satria called out, landing beside her in his Ultraman Cosmos form. Fatalis growled, clearly unimpressed. Without warning, her long tail whipped around, slamming into his back. Ouch! What was that for? Satria winced, rubbing his back. Don't talk to me, you puny human. Just leave me alone, I don't need your help, Fatalis snapped, her voice dripping with hostility. Satria sighed. Hey, calm down. I know you're mad at me for leaving you here alone to train, but it was for your own good. I want you to be strong enough to protect yourself, partner. Fatalis huffed, turning away. But before Satria could say more, the twin wolves advanced again, their growls rumbling like thunder. I don't have time for this. Sit. Satria commanded, his Supreme King aura exploding outward. The weather shifted violently, a blizzard howled, and the ground quaked under the weight of his power. The wolves froze in their tracks, their aggression melting into fear. Whimpering, they lowered their heads submissively. Satria turned to Fatalis, his aura fading as his voice softened. Aku Anjaluk Sepuram Marang Slirain Murga Wingi West Ning Galak Slirain. Tulang paringana aku pongapura saka apa kong wis daktan dakaking wenji wingi, yabunda. Translation: I apologize to you for leaving you yesterday. Please forgive me for the mistakes I made, my love. To Fatalis's surprise, he hugged her gently, his sincerity palpable. Her crimson eyes softened, though she tried to maintain her usual scowl. Idiot! Don't think this is enough for me to forgive you. Despite her words, her heart warmed. Never leave me alone again, she thought, though she wouldn't dare say it out loud. Life without him was unbearable, a fact she'd painfully realized during his absence. Leave it to me, Satria promised, pulling back with a grin. I'll make it up to you. And is this your other personality? We meet again, hey? Miss me, didn't you? Fatalis blinked, startled by his keen observation. You can tell? Don't get the wrong idea, idiot. It's not like I missed you or anything. She turned her gaze away, her cheeks faintly flushed. Are you disappointed that I'm not that lovesick girl you adore? Satria chuckled. Disappointed? No way. If anything, I'm grateful for this outcome, it makes everything twice as fun. You're such a pervert, Fatalis growled, slapping him across the face. Ow! Why do you always hit me? This is why dealing with sundaries is impossible. Shut up, moron, Fatalis retorted, though the corner of her lips twitched into a faint smile. Fatalis's gaze shifted to the twin wolves, who now watched the couple in silence. Their earlier aggression had evaporated, replaced by cautious curiosity. Satria approached them slowly, his hand outstretched. The wolves stiffened but didn't move, their glowing eyes locked on him. With a calm gesture, Satria fired his full react moon technique, a gentle beam of light that exuded peace and tranquility. The wolves' bodies relaxed, their fierce expressions softening into blissful calm. They nuzzled against him, their massive heads leaning into his touch. Good boy and girl, Satria cooed, scratching behind their ears. Their soft fur made him grin like a child with a new pet. He turned to Fatalis, his face lit with excitement. They're so cute and smart, aren't they? Can I take them both home? Fatalis's expression darkened, flames flickering at the edges of her mouth. So this was your plan all along, hey? You damn stupid furry! With a roar, she unleashed a fire blast, sending Satria scrambling to dodge. Why do you always attack me? He whined, patting out the flames. This is harassment, I swear. Shut up, fool! Just deal with your pets. Fatalis huffed, though her fiery display hid the small smile tugging at her lips. To be continued. Chapter 88, Chapter 73. The Unknown Contender. Madripur. Kurumi's POV. The rancid stench of Madripur's alleyways clawed at my senses. It was a mix of sweat, decay, and desperation, the kind of smell that clung to your soul and refused to let go. This smell. Satria muttered, narrowing my eyes. It reminds me of a place my old man brought me to in my past life. It reeks of danger, of lives discarded like trash. How refreshing! I glanced at Satria as we walked through the alleys of this lawless city. Around us were the dregs of society, miscreants, drug dealers, addicts, slaves, prostitutes, murderers, and syndicates thriving in the shadows. Poverty bled into every corner, a stark reminder of human neglect and greed. Satria seemed unbothered, even nostalgic. His past life must have been extraordinary, given how nonchalantly he navigated this hellhole. Why would your father bring you to a place like this? What kind of parent would expose their child to this filth? Don't take it the wrong way, Kurumi, Satria said, as though reading my thoughts. My old man. He was a strange guy, sure, but he brought me to places like this to teach me life's harsh truths. Ethics, morality, survival. He wanted me to understand the real world, not just the sheltered bubble I lived in. He believed that if I didn't see the ugliness, I might stumble into it blindly one day. He chuckled. Of course, my mom would have killed him if she'd known about these little field trips, ha 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 ha. I sighed, realizing how much Satria resembled his father. Now I see where you get your reckless attitude from. Just promise me one thing: you won't do this to our children when we have them, right? I couldn't bear the thought of my future children witnessing such horrors. Of course not. Satria grinned. If I have kids, I'll be the best daddy ever. My little princesses will never see danger, let alone live it. His words were comforting, but I couldn't shake my doubts. Satria always meant well, but his methods were unconventional. I tilted my head, still puzzled. How does someone like you, of all people, die by a truck in the first place? Satria scratched his head sheepishly. I still don't know. I was saving a kid who almost got hit by truck kun, but then this weird force pinned me in place. Next thing I know. Boom. Dead. Sometimes I wonder if it was fate or some cosmic joke. Typical, I muttered, rolling my eyes. You sound like a walking cliché from one of those reincarnation anime. But... I softened, squeezing his hand gently. I'm sorry you had to leave your family and friends behind. It must have been hard. Satria smiled wistfully. Yet. I have so many regrets. Unfinished dreams, unspoken words. I just hope there's a way to see them again someday. Until then, you have us. I laced my fingers with his. Whatever you need, I'll be here to help you achieve your dreams. Satria blinked, then grinned. You know, Kurumi, sometimes I wonder how I got so lucky to meet someone as amazing as you. Even if you and the other girls. He froze, realizing his mistake. Era? What was that about me and other girls? I asked, smiling sweetly, though my tone carried a dangerous edge. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Satria waved his hands innocently, trying to change the subject. Now, let's hear what you've discovered about this place. I let it slide for now. Fine, I said, flipping my hair dramatically. I've been investigating Madripur for the past week. I found evidence of human trafficking rings, a dangerous ninja syndicate called the Hand, illegal arms and drug trades, and I hesitated, my stomach twisting. Experiments on humans and mutants. It's sickening. Satria nodded, his expression grim. Good work. So, what do you want to do next? I want to save the people being experimented on, I said, my voice trembling. Especially the children. I can't stand to see them suffer. But truthfully, I don't know what to do. He rested a hand on my shoulder, his tone firm yet gentle. Kurumi, you've got a good heart. But listen to me, it's impossible to save everyone. That's just reality. I recoiled. You're saying we should ignore them? Let them be tortured and killed? Not at all, he replied, his eyes steady. But let me ask you, if we save them, what happens next? They have no citizenship, no papers. Do you think any country will accept them as refugees? Most governments would deport them back here, or worse. And even if we did find a safe haven, could we support them? Money, housing, healthcare, education. Are you ready to take full responsibility for their lives? I opened my mouth, but no words came. Tears welled up in my eyes as his words sank in. He was right. I didn't think that far, I admitted, my voice breaking. But there must be something we can do. Satria wiped my tears, his expression softening. Don't cry, my sweet emo girl. I'm not saying we abandon them, I'm saying we have to be smart about it. We'll need resources, connections, and a plan. And yet, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. But if we work together, we can make a difference. I managed a small smile. You really are something else, Satria. Thank you. He grinned, ruffling my hair. That's what I'm here for. Now, let's figure out how to deal with this mess. It's not going to be easy, but I promise we'll do what we can. As he turned, his gaze hardened, scanning the city with a mix of determination and frustration. Whatever plan he was cooking up, I trusted him. I've never met anyone like Satria. A man who balances cold logic with genuine compassion. A man who challenges me to grow and inspires me to dream. If there's one thing I'm certain of, it's this: I'll stand by his side, no matter what. Kia Him's POV. The soft glow of lanterns bathed the private dining room in a warm, golden light. The faint sound of shamisen music drifted through the room as Mako and the geisha performed their elegant dance, their movements perfectly synchronized with the melodies. It was a night steeped in tradition, yet brimming with intimacy. Satria had gone all out for this date. From shopping in Kyoto's finest boutiques to indulging in luxurious spa treatments, he had pampered me endlessly. Now, seated across from him at a table laden with exquisite dishes, I couldn't help but feel a swell of gratitude and affection. "Are you enjoying the date, my dear?" Satria asked, his voice as warm as the ambience around us. I smiled, my heart softening further. My, you never fail to make me happy, Dana-sama. This must have cost you a fortune, but I'll let it slide this time. I teased, though the truth was, I was in far too good a mood to dwell on such things. Satria chuckled nervously, scratching the back of his head. It was clear the expenses and the effort to secure such an exclusive experience hadn't been easy. This private restaurant wasn't something one could simply book online, it required connections. Thankfully, Satria's resourcefulness and unique charm had come through yet again. "Anything for my beloved wife," he said with sincerity, then turned to the geisha and Mako. "Thank you for your wonderful performance, but we'd like some privacy now." The performers bowed gracefully. "Of course, dear guests. Please enjoy your time," they said, quietly leaving the room and sliding the shoji door closed behind them. The room fell silent, save for the faint rustle of the wind outside. Satria's eyes locked onto mine, his gaze so intense it made my cheeks flush. What is it?" I stammered, looking away in an attempt to hide my embarrassment. "It's awkward when you stare at me like that without saying anything, Dana-sama." He smiled, leaning forward slightly. "It's your fault for being so beautiful, Kiyo." Then, as if by magic, he pulled a small red box from his pocket and placed it gently on the table. Without a word, he opened the box. Inside was a ring unlike anything I'd ever seen. The band shimmered with intertwined hues of gold and purple, crafted with a precision that defied imagination. It wasn't just beautiful, it radiated a sense of power and mystery. "This," Satria began, his voice soft yet unwavering, "was forged from the finest materials in Asthetha's world, gold and the essence of a greater beast called Shigeru Magala. It's not just a ring, it grants its wearer incredible abilities, including resistance to poison. But more than that, it's a symbol of my love for you. From the moment I arrived in this world, you've stood by me. You've supported me, believed in me, and brought light into my life. This ring is my promise to you, a symbol of my gratitude and my devotion. Thank you for everything, Kiyohime." My heart skipped a beat, then another. As he slipped the ring onto my finger, a wave of emotions crashed over me: joy, love, and something I couldn't quite describe but knew I'd cherish forever. My voice trembled as I struggled to find the words. I'm so touched. I may not yet meet your expectations as the ideal wife, but I swear to you, Satria, I will dedicate my life to making you proud. I'll be the wife you deserve, and I will cherish this bond for eternity." Tears welled in my eyes, but they were tears of happiness. I never imagined this moment would come so soon, or that it would feel so overwhelming. "You already make me proud," Satria said, his hand reaching to wipe away a stray tear from my cheek. His touch was tender, his gaze filled with love. You've always been enough, Kyo. Never doubt that. I nodded, unable to speak as I clutched his hand tightly. My life, once filled with uncertainty and longing, now felt complete. As we sat together, the world beyond the shoji door seemed to fade away. This was our moment, a perfect night in Kyoto, shared with the man who had stolen my heart and given me his in return. And as I looked down at the ring gleaming on my finger, I knew one thing for certain: I would treasure this bond, this love, for all of eternity. Satria's POV. The underground stage. It's been 10 days since Kurumi and I arrived in this chaotic, lawless land. In this place where strength dictates survival, it didn't take long for me to carve out a name for myself. Money flows easily here for someone with skills like mine. My first move was to join the underground fighting circuit, a brutal arena where fortunes are made, alliances forged, and rivalries born. As a newcomer, there were restrictions. Rules designed to keep rookies like me in line. But as the old saying goes, strength is victory. Turns out, I'm pretty good at winning. My performance in the ring has drawn the attention of powerful figures from all over the globe. Business magnates, warlords, crime bosses, they're all watching, placing their bets on who will dominate in the tournament known as Armageddon. The underground stadium buzzed with energy, a cacophony of roars and cheers. Here, disputes between powerful corporations and shady organizations were settled not through negotiations but through bloodshed. Fighters were sent to represent their patrons, each battle a spectacle of raw power and skill. The first phase? A chaotic battle royale, where only the strongest survive. In the ring, my opponent towered before me, a hulking man clad in green, steel-like armor that gleamed under the harsh lights. Muscles rippled beneath his skin as he flexed, his sheer size enough to intimidate most. He was a seasoned fighter with a reputation that preceded him, known as the Kraken. "You're unlucky to face me in your first match," he growled, his voice low and menacing. "Surrender now, and I might let you live, trash." I smirked, adjusting the green and black robes of my new sacred Duolingo costume. To ordinary eyes, the Kraken was an imposing force. But to me, he was just another stepping stone. "Danger, you say?" I quipped, my voice dripping with sarcasm. "Strangely, I don't see any here." "Do you, old man?" The Kraken's glare sharpened as his muscles tensed. The crowd erupted in cheers for him, and I couldn't help but chuckle. A stunning woman entered the ring, her presence commanding attention. With tan skin, flowing black hair, and a crimson gown that contrasted with the raw energy of the arena, she exuded both elegance and authority. This was Esmeralda, the referee of Armageddon. "Ladies and gentlemen." Esmeralda's voice echoed through the arena. "The moment you've all been waiting for is here." On the left, representing Oscorp Industries, a fighter who needs no introduction. The legendary, the fearsome, the Kraken. The crowd went wild. "Woohoo! Kill him, Master Kraken! Who let that clown in? Smash him!" I tilted my head, feigning jealousy. "Wow, they really love you." Meanwhile, here I am, wearing this incredible costume, and they're still not cheering for me. Unfair, don't you think? The Kraken's lips curled into a snarl. "You've already failed to meet the standards to stand here. Now, I'll make sure you never step into this ring again." Esmeralda raised her hand, signaling for silence. And on the right, a fighter shrouded in mystery. His origin? Unknown. His style? A peculiar martial art known as Patok the Owl. Representing Tokopedia from Indonesia, he's here to make a name for himself. Introducing Satria, the Honored One. I stepped forward, spreading my arms theatrically. "At your service, everyone." "And I've got a feeling this one's already in the bag." The crowd's boos echoed through the arena, but I didn't care. I thrived on their disdain. "Quit while you can, clown," Kraken sneered. I ignored him, instead looking up at the crowd with mock fear. Oh no! It's Kraken! He's so strong, his power level must be over a 9,000. I gasped dramatically, clutching my chest. Someone help me! I might die from cringe. The arena fell into a mix of laughter and groans. Esmeralda covered her mouth, clearly struggling to maintain her composure. The Kraken, however, wasn't amused. His knuckles cracked ominously as he lunged forward, his massive frame casting a shadow over me. The match had begun. In the VIP lounge overlooking the underground arena, Kurumi sat calmly, her gaze fixed on the ring where Satria faced off against the infamous Kraken. Her expression remained neutral, though inwardly, she was bracing herself for Satria's antics. Beside her, a black-haired man in a formal suit shifted uncomfortably. The man, William, CEO of Tokopedia, was having second thoughts about being dragged into this risky business. Can he even win this? William muttered, adjusting his tie nervously. No, wait, does he even know how to fight? I'm sorry, but your boyfriend looks more like a street performer than a warrior. His skeptical eyes lingered on Satria's eccentric owl-themed costume. Kurumi smirked faintly, hiding her amusement. Freed, not Mr. William, she corrected him, her tone teasing but calmly. No one here is more dependable than him. Ignore what you see now and focus on what's to come. You'll thank me later. William grimaced, his thoughts racing. This is insane. If this guy loses, my reputation and my company are finished. But if he wins? No, that's impossible. How could someone like him defeat the Kraken? The referee, Esmeralda, raised her hand. Her voice echoed across the arena, silencing the crowd. Are you two ready? Both fighters nodded, taking their stances. Kraken's massive frame seemed to dominate the ring, his armor emitting a low rumble as he prepared to charge. Fight! With a deafening roar, Kraken lunged forward, his speed defying his size. The crowd erupted into cheers as he closed the gap in an instant, his armored fist poised to crush Satria. Tremble before the might of the Kraken, he bellowed, his voice shaking the air. In the VIP section for Oscorp, Norman Osborne, the company's founder, leaned back with a smug grin. It's over already, he declared confidently. Beside him, a cold, green-haired woman in a sleek spandex suit crossed her arms. A Hydra agent and Kraken's top student, she watched the scene with detached disinterest. As expected. That clown had no chance against Master Kraken. As Kraken charged, Satria casually adjusted his stance. His costume shimmered faintly as he activated his hidden trump cards, armament haki and his stand, dark platinum. It's time to make an impression, Satria muttered under his breath. The world. Time froze. In the suspended silence, Satria stepped forward with measured ease. With a smirk, he delivered a perfectly placed uppercut, sending Kraken's massive frame flying across the ring. The hulking fighter crashed into the ground head first, his armored bulk embedding itself deep into the arena floor. Satisfied, Satria deactivated his stand and clapped his hands together. Time resumes. The stadium was deathly silent for a moment, then. Hey! What? Every spectator stared in disbelief at the sight of Kraken lying unconscious, his massive body half buried in the ground. Esmeralda hesitated before rushing to check Kraken's condition. Nervously, she bent down and tapped his shoulder. Sir Kraken? Can you continue? No response. She stood up, raised her hand, and shouted, 3, 2, 1, 0. The winner is Satria, the honored one. The arena exploded in chaos. Ha 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 ha. Satria's laughter echoed as he broke into an eccentric, exaggerated dance. Ku kira karas, turn yata kurtas, he shouted, doubling over in glee. Some in the crowd joined in his laughter, while others erupted in rage. Impossible. This is match fixing. My money. My life is over. Meanwhile, others shouted with newfound joy. I'm rich. Long live Satria, the honored one. No way. He won. William's voice cracked as he stared in disbelief at the scene below. Slowly, his shock morphed into a grin. I'm sorry I doubted you, Miss Nightmare. Mr. Satria is an outstanding person. Kurumi allowed herself a small, satisfied smile. It's to be expected from my precious sweet boy. Right? Trust me, and I'll help you reach new heights in this world, brother. Satria's cheerful voice came from right behind William, startling the man so much that he almost tripped. Mr. Satria! Since when were you there? William exclaimed, clutching his chest. Satria gave him a cheeky grin. Don't ask useless questions. Focus on what's important. His tone turned serious as he continued, remember our deal. I want you to arrange a legal identity as a citizen of your country for me, a bank account to deposit my prize money, and preparations for my family's holiday in Bali. Oh, and 15% of my winnings must go to charity. Understood. William nodded quickly, overwhelmed by Satria's straightforward demands. Yes, yes, I'll handle it. Not a big deal for me, I've got connections in immigration. But, Mr. Satria, why give so much to charity? And why did you choose me, of all people, to sponsor you? Satria leaned back, his eyes thoughtful. How do I explain this? Growing up, my parents taught me to share my fortune with those in need, whether family, friends, or strangers. It's part of our culture, and more importantly, it's the right thing to do. He smiled at William. As for why I picked you? Just coincidence. Lady Luck smiled on you this time. William's expression softened, touched by Satria's sincerity. You have good parents, Satria. I promise your money will reach the right hands. Kurumi, watching from the side, licked her lips slightly as she thought to herself, good boy and good boys deserve rewards from mommy later, phew. Before anyone could respond, a sudden blur darted toward Satria. Without missing a beat, Satria blocked the surprise attack effortlessly. The assailant, undeterred, launched a rapid flurry of strikes, each one evaded or parried with ease. With one fluid motion, Satria caught the attacker by the neck and slammed them against the wall. Who are you? He demanded, his voice cold and sharp. State your reason for this attack. You have 10 seconds, or you can say goodbye to your head. The attacker, a slim woman with a predatory aura, gasped for air but managed to speak. I am not your enemy. My name is Viper. I was only testing your strength. Satria's sharp gaze softened slightly as he scanned her, sensing the darkness in her heart. An orphan raised as a killer. A human weapon. Strong by normal standards, but far from my level. You're lucky I'm not the type to let my ego dictate my actions, he muttered, releasing her. Next time, think and observe before attacking someone stronger than you. Viper collapsed to the floor, panting heavily. Noted. But I must say, you've earned my respect, Satria. Defeating the Kraken, my mentor, is no small feat. Her lips curled into a sly smile. Who are you, really? A mutant? A superhuman? A god? Or maybe, an alien? I wonder what kind of man is hiding inside that adorable costume of yours. Before Satria could respond, Kurumi stepped forward, her presence radiating a quiet menace. Ara, he is an off-limits snake. You can't touch what belongs to me. Her voice was sweet, but the bloodlust she emitted was anything but. Viper blinked, then smirked. Oh? I didn't notice you before. Apologies for interrupting. But judging from your appearance, you're Japanese and seem quite young. Are you sure you know how to satisfy a man like him? Perhaps we should have a little contest to see who's truly worthy of him. Kurumi's eyes narrowed, her tone icy. You want to die that badly, hey? Perhaps it's time to exterminate a pest. Sensing the tension escalating, Satria quickly stepped between them. Sorry, Viper, but I have to decline your offer. As you can see, I already have a partner, and there's no way I'd betray her trust. To emphasize his point, he wrapped his arms around Kurumi from behind, soothing her anger with a gentle hug. Viper chuckled, tossing a card toward him. Fair enough. But if you ever change your mind, you know how to reach me. She turned to William, her tone now professional. Mr. William, my superior, Mr. Osborne, wishes to meet with you. He'll be waiting in the Grand Hotel's meeting room tonight. Norman Osborne. William's face turned pale at the mention of the powerful CEO. Viper nodded. Indeed. He has an important proposition for you. Don't keep him waiting. With that, she strode out of the room, leaving the group to process her words. What should I do? William turned to Satria, his voice trembling slightly. Satria grinned and gave him a thumbs up. Good luck. William groaned, rubbing his temples. Why do I feel like my life just got a lot more complicated? Kurumi smirked. Oh, don't worry, William-san. Just remember, when dealing with powerful people, it's better to smile, nod, and survive. Ha ha ha. Satria laughed, giving his partner a playful nudge. That's the spirit. Now, let's prepare for our next adventure. To be continued. Chapter 89, Side Story, We Are a Hero. A group of adult men and teenagers entered the Hall of Justice. Leading the group was a man dressed in a dark grey costume, the unmistakable bat symbol emblazoned on his chest. His presence was commanding, his every move sharp and calculated. He was Batman, a symbol of justice and fear, known to everyone. Beside him, though, was a surprising sight: a young boy in a unique ensemble. He wore a white shiitake beneath a black koset and hakama, the traditional garb of a Shinigami squad leader, but with a twist. A black bat robe draped over his uniform, doubling as a mask to hide his face. His black koset had his insignia on the inside, marking him as more than just an ordinary member of the squad. This was Robin, or rather, Dick Grayson, Batman's protégé. Batman tilted his head, his expression unreadable as he studied his sidekick's new outfit. What led to this change? He asked, his voice sharp but curious. Robin grinned, shrugging. I wanted to change the atmosphere, he said with a wink, though there was an underlying truth in his words. Batman gave a small grunt of approval, inspecting his young partner with a discerning eye. You look acceptable in it, unexpectedly. He approved. Robin is surprised that his mentor doesn't have a problem with his new uniform. You should be grateful to me, brat. No one wants to see your unsightly, tight, and ridiculous costumes. Robin's Zanpakuto, a blade with its own personality, seemed to love the transformation of her wielder. This new look is exactly what you need. Before Robin could respond, Artemis Crooks, Green Arrow's sidekick, raised an eyebrow in interest. Since when do you use a sword, Robin? Is that a real one? Robin chuckled, placing a hand on the hilt. It's a long story, but yeah, it's real. He gave a playful glance at Artemis. What about you, archery prodigy? You still aiming for the bullseye? Artemis smirked, clearly not intimidated. Always. Right. You look cool and awesome, Robin. So, this is your base. Thanks for inviting me to join your team, hehe. The girl in the Red Riding Hood costume speaks excitedly. It's even more incredible than she imagined, and all of Robin's friends look like good people. You're the one who wants to be a hero, right? It's just my way of helping you achieve your dream. Robin smiles when he sees Ruby is happy. He expected them to do well on their first mission as heroes. Just then, a soft voice interrupted the moment. It's my first time being a hero, too. I don't want to be a spectator forever. I look forward to your guidance, Robin-kun. The girl speaking was Emilia, a stunning vision with long silver hair and purple-blue eyes. She wore a purple outfit, with a white flower nestled in her hair. Where the hell did your protégé find these girls? Holy shit! She is so beautiful and sweet. If I'm not married, I'll hit on her now without wasting my time. The man in the full body suit, all red, asks the Batman. He is Flash, a member of the Justice League. For him, the beauty of the white-haired girl is like someone who has come out of a fantasy world. This is a mystery for me too, he said to trust him, and one day he will tell me the truth. I don't sense anything dangerous from either of them, so I'll let it go for now. Batman replies. Oh yeah. Who are those two ladies next to you, Robin? My name is Wally West, but they call me Kid Flash, the future fastest man alive. How about a date when this mission is over, my beautiful lady? Wally winked at Emilia, and Ruby tried to ask one of them out. Atta, my boy. Go on. Show her how manly and cool you are, Wally. Flash cheers on his protégé. Sorry, but there is something I have to do after this mission. Emilia gently turned him down, not used to being asked out by strangers. What's a date, Robin? Ruby asks with an innocent face that makes others can't believe there is someone so pure in this world. Robin is annoyed for some reason and kicks his friend in the butt. What's your problem, asshole? Kid Flash asks Robin, the reason for the kick. Never contaminate Ruby with your perverted mind, idiot. Suddenly there is a report from the Man of Steel or Superman that a fire has broken out at Project Cadmus. Not long after, another screen pops up showing a middle-aged man named Giovanni Zatara, a member of the Justice League. Zatara to League, Votan is planning to blot out the sun. I request a full response from the League. Batman glanced at the bearded man, or Aquaman, who nodded, before turning to Superman. Superman. Superman looked pensive for a second before answering. It's a small fire, the local fire brigade are dealing with it. Batman nodded before turning to the others. All right, we'll take care of Votan. Then he turned to the teenagers and spoke. Stay here. Robin looked at him in shock. What? I thought you trusted us. The Aquaman protégé named Aqualad had a disappointed look on his face. What trust? They even lie about their headquarters being in space. Green Arrow protégé Speedy snorts. What is this Project Cadmus anyway? Aqualad asks Robin. From the information I have gathered, Project Cadmus is a secret division of the United States government designed to counteract the power of meta-humans. Robin answers his question. How do you know this? Artemis wants to know how this guy knows this information. A certain weird guy is the one who informed me of the cost of my time, but if you don't believe me, I can show you the proof. Robin walked over to the computer and typed something in. Access denied. Well, that was as expected. Kid Flash knew this would happen. Robin smiled and typed again. Soon several screens appeared. Access granted. What the fuck? How did you do that? Kid Flash was surprised that this guy had successfully hacked the system. A picture of a building appeared, showing everything about Cadmus. The technology of this world never failed to amaze Emilia. If her world had something like this, the quality of life for the people of her world would be easier and more prosperous. Project Cadmus. A genetics lab here in DC. If Batman's suspicious, that's more than enough to check it out. Aqualad looked pensive for a second. Solve their riddle before they do. It would be poetic justice, and they're all about justice, Robin said, his hands on his belt. Aqualad sighed before speaking. But they told us to stay put. Robin just looked at him with a grin, and Ruby nodded excitedly, knowing what her senior was going to do next. From the Sun mission, not this one. Sounds like fun. Let's do it and start the action. Ruby said happily. Are you serious? If you're going, I'm going. Kid Flash tapped his shoulder to confirm that he was going. Robin sees his friends and they all smile, giving their consent to help him get on this mission. Now, let's show them we are a hero too. Side end. Chapter 90, Chapter 74. Gorgeous. Jotunheim. Don't stop, that's the spot. Almost there. Yes, not bad for a human, Fatalis purred, her voice laced with satisfaction. I swear, you girl always finds ways to use me for stuff like this, Satria muttered, pouring warm oil into his hands before kneading it into her soft skin. His strong hands moved expertly over her back, easing tension and drawing out sighs of pleasure. Less complaining, more massaging. It's your fault for being so skilled at this. And how dare you live comfortably in this cozy cave while I must survive in harsh conditions outside? Fatalis grumbled, though her annoyance was overshadowed by the blissful sensations his hands delivered. The cave, now modified into a cozy sanctuary by Satria, was filled with the soft glow of lanterns. The usually ferocious Fatalis seemed like an entirely different being under his touch, almost serene. Hold on, this part might hurt a bit, Satria warned, repositioning his hands to address a stubborn knot in her back. How can you be so talented? I feel like my youth is returning. You must do this more often, puppy, she teased, her voice melting with contentment. You sound like an old lady now, Satria quipped, a sly grin forming on his face. Fatalis immediately shot him a sharp glare, her crimson eyes narrowing dangerously. Satria gulped, quickly realizing his mistake. Sorry, honey. I didn't mean it like that. In fact, you look younger than ever. Your beauty is magical, he stammered, attempting to recover with flattery. Humph, idiot. Fatalis smirked, her anger melting away. She let out a satisfied sigh as he finished the massage, then leaned in and kissed him lightly on the cheek. I'm satisfied for now. Time for me to rest. Goodbye, my little pup. With those parting words, the side of her that embraced his pampering faded, and her usual fierce demeanor returned. Satria. Fatalis' voice was cold, her eyes narrowing as she surveyed him. Hey, how are you feeling? Satria asked nervously, knowing what was coming. Her fist connected with his face before he could react, sending him flying against the wall of the cave. Ugh! Again? You must be kidding me! Satria groaned, rubbing his now throbbing face. That's for leaving your wife alone in a dangerous land. Humph! Fatalis crossed her arms, her expression equal parts pouty and furious. Satria sighed, dusting himself off before walking over to her. He gently wrapped his arms around her, pulling her into a comforting hug. Sorry. I'll make amends for everything. I promise, my black dragon, Fatalis. Will you forgive me, my love? His voice was soft, earnest. Fatalis smirked triumphantly, savoring her victory. You should be sorry. I'll be waiting for my compensation, dear. Satria chuckled, leaning back to meet her gaze. By the way, I wanted to introduce you to our new family member. Fatalis tilted her head, her expression shifting from irritation to curiosity. New family member. Fatalis stood frozen as two colossal wolves, radiating immense power, loomed before her. Their sheer size and presence were overwhelming, yet their eyes held a mix of curiosity and caution. So, you're telling me my other half gave you permission to take care of them? Fatalis raised a skeptical brow, her arms crossed as she scrutinized the wolves. It's not that I'm against adopting them, but they're enormous. How do you plan to keep them in our home? And how are you going to explain this to Jotunheim? Satria grinned, brimming with excitement. Relax, I've got a solution. Let me show you something. With a deep breath, Satria transformed into his ultra form. His body glowed with divine energy as he reached out, drawing power from across the universe. A radiant beam shot forth from his hands, enveloping the wolves. Slowly, their colossal forms began to shrink until they were the size of ordinary wolves. Simultaneously, Satria's form reverted to a normal human size. See? Problem solved. He crouched in front of the wolves, his tone serious but warm. Now, let's make this official. Satria extended his hand, golden energy swirling around it. Tamer skill, the Golden Order. I ask you both, under my name, to join my family. There's no need to worry, this is not a slave pact or anything that binds your freedom. I detest such things. Instead, I offer you love, safety, power, and release from the chains of divine imprisonment. All I ask is that you lend me your strength when I truly need it. Will you accept it? The wolves locked eyes with him, their fierce auras softening. They threw back their heads and howled, a resonant sound that echoed through the cave. It was their way of agreeing to the pact. Good, Satria said with a smile. From now on, you are part of my family. Allow me to do this first. With a flash of light, Satria uses his newly forged technique, the Emperor Blade,